away we go. I think we're up and running. Let's see. We should be. Wait a second. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Good to see you. I've got a loose. My hair's still in a ponytail. Just work today and craziness and running around. How are you? Welcome. Thanks for joining me. Oh, man, it's a show today. We have so much idiocy on deck. There's some days when you're just overwhelmed with the ridiculousness of the argument. And it's a tough one for me, you know, as someone who is balanced, who is, you know, weighing a Libra, actually. Fancy, I should bring that up since my birthday is next Saturday. And, you know, I have a real hitch in my get-along when it comes to speaking, you know, honestly about someone else's argument and pushing back against it without I've got a very strong, I believe, anti-straw man reflex. I wouldn't want to do that. I have too much fun winning on the merits to do that. And to the point of irritance with my fellow online compatriots, I guess. I just don't go there. I get in trouble for it occasionally from, the more hardline among us. My hair's it was damp, and then it was a little frizzy, so I had to put some mousse on it and give it a squeak back. So it's a little hit and miss today, but it'll let us get on with it. I went because my trainer, like I said, was out of town, so that's why I did the morning thing. And so I went to the gym, all right. And when I came back, I got caught up on in a news cycle and just following some stories, and then I looked up and I'm like, oh my God, it's almost showtime. We're about 15 minutes away. So I had a lot on my plate. So here I am back in my seat again, a bit rushed, but lots to cover, and here we go. Now, everybody knows how we are always hunting for the next winner of 5 eggs, and today it might be just right out of the gate. We don't know. We'll give him a chance. He's our current winner, even though the award itself was invented accidentally, yes, I know, by Diamond and Silk. Indeed, here we are with Dan Bongino, desperately trying to keep in the front. Yes, he might have 2 swollen eggs. We don't know. The great Bongholio has joined us again. He's looking for a teepee for his bunghole. Bongino. And this guy. Oh yeah. So this is he's probably if he has a superpower in the I guess in the Sinister Six or the Dunderhead 9. I don't know how many of these idiots there are these days. Their number keeps expanding. If there's something that he's got really well, it's the introducing a conspiracy theory into normal talking points out of I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there's this thing, right? Just with a weird shrug and a dash of confusion. Now Tucker Carlson does it by just asking, a question that's really a statement and furrowing his brow and, well, that sounds terrible. Bring on guests that will agree with him or that are spouting this very thing. But Bongino does it by just being confused. And half the time I can't tell if he's introducing this conspiracy theory because it's on his list that he gets from the Heritage Foundation like the rest of these bozos, or because he's heard something, from somebody who heard something, and he his Trinidad swollen balls link is giving him the inside 2 scoops. You know what I'm saying? Breaking omelets with Alsprites. You can't make, yeah. All right, so I want to see, this is titled, this video is titled, this is from Dan Bongino Show Clips, which is, by the way, what the Joe Rogan stuff got very popular with. Your Name Plus Show Clips, his channel. Did Mark Milley, Pelosi, and China collude against Trump? Collude. They're colluding. It's collude. Where have we heard this word before? Colluding. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Spread the word around the show. This is Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, because we're check the chat. People all over the world joining us. It's fantastic. All right, what do you got to say, Dum Dum? Oops. Hold on. I don't know why his audio is off. Oh, I know what it is. I turned it off. Hold on. There we go. I'll fix it. There we go. I know you wanted to hear more of this. Anyways.
So a general, the Joint Chiefs Chairman in the United States, is calling a sworn nuclear-powered communist enemy of the United States, the Chinese...
Dude, how many words do you have to say to get the sentence right? So General Mark Milley is calling a sworn enemy of the United States and giving them the heads up, and they have nukes and we have nukes and whatever. Don't get the details right in your brain as you speak. Get the details right in your brain, and then, oh, look who I'm talking to.
Communist Party.
Mm-hmm.
To notify them, not the President of the United States at the time, Donald Trump, to notify them that if we were to attack, according to this report, if he were to attack, if Donald Trump were to choose to attack China, he would let them know in advance.
Right.
Can you imagine the strategic advantage this offered the Chinese government in the weeks prior to Joe Biden?
Yes. The missiles away, hallelujah, is a dead giveaway. Hold on one second. The filter on this is such that I think I thought I had a compressor on it. I was mistaken. I'm just going to try and make it so that it's a little bit louder, maybe some gainage. We'll see. Hopefully that will help. Whoops. There we go. Gain, done. Pop this up a touch. We'll see. There we go.
Taking over the presidency. Can you imagine? Hey, guys, can you imagine what the conversation...
Let's just make up what happened. Hey, guys, if you think about this logically, if an unlawful order from the president, there were missiles coming, we would let you know, and we talked about this earlier this morning about, like, if they have boats in the South China Sea, we're going to give them a warning, and then if they don't move their boats, we're going to say, we just launched missiles towards them. You should probably move your boats. Like, we do that in the Persian Gulf. We would do that in this situation. It's not weird at all. But watch this asshole jump through hoops trying to make it that way.
It's the time, Donald Trump.
Push-up time? Have I been given push-ups? I don't have the camera set up yet, guys. Give me some time. Give me over the weekend. I've just gotten the new set done. Now I've got to expand my green screen so it doesn't look like I'm like five-finger death punching Dan Bongino. All right. Yeah, that's right. I just ate Dan Bongino's heart onto it. And you're like, how? You didn't eat anything. Exactly. I'm kidding. He's got a heart. He's a human being. He's just stupid. He's a stupid man.
Notify them that if we were to attack, according to this report, if he were to attack, if Donald Trump were to choose to attack China, he would let them know in advance. Can you imagine the strategic tactical advantage this offered the Chinese government in the weeks?
Yeah, can you imagine the conversation in the room with the Chinese Communist Party going, he said what? He'll tell us? Oh shit, they've already fired, haven't they? Do we trust him? He was appointed by Trump. Trump wants to stay in power. He'd be the last guy to tell us. Can you imagine how much fucking confusion this would cause amongst the Chinese? I'm dead serious. If Mark Milley, a Trump appointee, a general who'd been talking to his cohort about the South China Seas and about their aggression in certain areas and how Trump was, stomping around, all that shit, he calls the Chinese and goes, yeah, no, bro, I'll totally call you. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can... Turn that on. Hello, check one. Hello, are you there? Hello, yeah, it's Millie. What's happening, babe? Listen, yeah, 你好. 我需要告诉你. Nah, I'm sorry, my Chinese is terrible. I'll just say it in English. Yeah, Trump, no, everything's cool. Yeah, no, minor coup, no big deal. Yeah, no, Trump is definitely leaving office. Oh yeah, no, I know he's saying that, but he's definitely, yeah. Oh yeah, dude, if he Yeah, no. I mean, I know what this looks like on the news, but tell you what, bro. If we attack, I'll totally call you beforehand. Don't worry about it. Hey, just relax. Booby. I can give them to you. Okay. You call me back. Okay. Sure. 下一次见. Okay. 再见. Bye-bye. I need the hamburger phone. They only use that in real emergencies. Millie versus Bong. And can you imagine the strategic advantage? Can you imagine the fucking confusion on the part of the Chinese when you call in like, hey, are you guys still a democracy or a dictatorship? And because your dude's a lunatic, is he going to attack us? Like, nah, but he appointed me as a general, and you know how that thing goes when dictators take over. The guy they appointed as the Joint Chief, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and military leader. They're always soften the blow of a military dictatorship. Jesus Christ, strategic advantage. Nobody gets a strategic advantage when you're calling them going, no, we will call you if you're going to die. Yeah, great.
Prior to Joe Biden taking over the presidency, can you imagine? Hey, guys, can you imagine what the conversations going on in China were?
Yes, I just did.
Now we know we can manipulate the political system in the United States.
Or now we know we can manipulate the system in the United States if they're telling us the truth. What was that, Wong? I just said if they're telling us the truth. Why wouldn't they tell us the truth? Well, because they don't trust us. We don't trust them. Why would they tell us the truth? Isn't everything they said? Clearly, I cannot choose the wine in front of me. How do you say never get involved with a Sicilian when death is on the line in Chinese?
Star General, the Joint Chiefs Chairman, to notify us about an attack before it happens. So if we attack first, we know that no attack will likely happen.
No. He's talking about an offensive attack, stupid. If they attacked us, they're getting hit. We have contingency plans. Everybody's on board. Trump would totally let it happen. If they hit us, get fucked. Yeah, that's what Milley was doing. He was trying to set up a situation where he could sacrifice a few of our soldiers. You know, he wanted his own Pearl Harbor. Get out of town.
Next 2 weeks, because Mark Milley will put a stop to it. Think about that. Has he thought any of this through? Mark Milley
have you thought any of this true? I'm dead serious. Dan's neon blue annoys me with his red. Yeah, it's a bad contrast. It really is. With the black, yeah.
Seriously, this guy now, regardless of the man's prior service, thank you for that. You are a disgrace.
Yeah. Thank you for your service, you fucking traitor. That's like, how many times are we going to hear that from the right this week?
To the country, to the uniform, to the military, to the flag. You must immediately resign, and you should be put under a
Why are you reading that off a piece of paper? You must immediately resign. We're all in, right? We're in the Tucker text circle where everybody, it's Greg Kelly and Tucker Carlson and Dan Bongino and Diamond and Silk and Michael and Dell and everybody. They all text each other. No, you hang up first. Don't forget. Yeah. Make sure. Say resign immediately. That's the phrase. Resign immediately. Yeah, we needed his quote as much as possible. I just talked to Steve Bannon. Yeah. He said resign immediately is the best way to go. Yeah. Resign in disgrace is too much. It's too soft. Trump likes to say disgrace, so he likes to say it's a disgrace. We leave that to him. We say resign immediately. Okay. Resign immediately. Okay. No, you hang up.
Test immediately, and if this is true, you should be tried for treason.
Well, by the way, congratulations, Bob Woodward. Everyone on the right thinks every word you type is the absolute truth.
I'm not afraid to use that word. No one else should either. Calling a communist nuclear-powered enemy behind the back of the President of the United States to notify them you would give them the tactical advantage in a nuclear war by...
What? In a nuclear war? No one has a tactical advantage in a nuclear war, dumb fuck. If we attack you, I would call you first, meaning, hey guys, 7, 6, 5, 4. We're sending missiles your way. Okay, have a nice afternoon. Click. What the fuck do you think? What kind of, honest to God, what kind of mental boomerang do you have floating around in your goddamn head?
letting them know before a strike. If that is not treason, I don't know what the definition.
Well, the treason would be stopping the strike that was duly ordered by Congress, or informing them without the consent of Congress or the military civilian leadership of the country, to give them a heads up, like in time for them to actually mount a response and giving them a tactical advantage, as opposed to you're about to get hit. Fucking hell. It's called mutual self-assured destruction for a reason, Dan. Exactly. Has this dude's never seen Dr. Strangelove? Well, hello, Dimitri. Mr. President, don't mention the big board. Yes, Dimitri. Could you turn the music down? Thank you. Yes, that's fine. I'm fine, Dimitri. Thank you for asking. I'm fine. And how are you? And you're fine? You're fine? Well, good. I'm fine and you're fine. We're both fine. Now, yes, Dimitri, that's perhaps for another time. But I need to tell you, one of our generals, he went and he did a silly thing. And I'm going to tell you, Dimitri, he ordered his bombers to attack your country. And Dimitri, I know that. Yes. Well, I'm very sorry. Yes, of course I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. Yes. Well, I know you're sorry. Well, we're both very, very sorry. Now, we're going to give you we're going to give you the direction the planes are flying, and you're going to have to shoot them down, right? It was Alexei. Thank you. It was Dimitri, not Alexei, right?
Of treason. That is by no means too strong a word.
Well, you don't know any other words, stupid. That's the problem with Dan Bongino. He's got like 9 words. He's got like he's got the only like macho thesaurus. Only words that are tougher than the word you're looking for. You know what I mean? Like, what's a butch word for loser? Like, that's like everything has to be.
He should be polygraphed immediately. Folks.
Yeah, he admitted it. That's the chain of command. That's logical behavior that's what he's tasked to do. Please tell. I mean, honest to God, he has a macho thesaurus. It's like he's got the brothesaurus.
The federal government, where I was as a GS 1811 special agent, if there's you have to get a polygraph to get the job, number one. But if there is a security problem with you
didn't take a polygraph to get this job, did you? I mean, I didn't. I started this show myself. This was in my fucking office, but you're on the radio and you have a show there. You didn't have to take there was no polygraph for this gig. I'm just guessing. How about this? How about this, Dan? How about you do your show on a polygraph and put it on screen? How about that? I think that's a great idea. If you're going to call out Mark Milley for doing stuff that's in standard fail-safe operating procedure, in the case of a strike that's illegal, letting the country that we don't intend to strike as a nation know that someone in our country has gone rogue and is striking them, letting them know is completely within that chain of command. I'm not worried about what Mark Milley will say under polygraph. I would like to see Dan Bongino do his show with a polygraph, but it'd probably have to have to work on Dan's show. It'd have to have like one of those sledgehammer games at the carnival, and like, bro, the bigger the lie, the harder it rings the bell, bro.
You are forced to take a polygraph. There are 2 types of
a polygraph, not a did you say polygraph or polygram?
Security problem with you. Mm-hmm. You are forced to take a polygraph.
Polygrab. Sorry, that's where they grab you with both hands. Are they hiring right now? That sounds rather pleasant. I'm just saying. They grab you with both hands? I mean, some of us, they need to.
Two types of polygraphs. There's a national security polygraph and a criminal polygraph if they believe you violated criminal laws. The other one's obviously if they...
Right, yeah. And then if next level, you get the Scientology clear machine.
You're a national security threat. How is Mark Milley not being forced to undergo a polygraph right now?
Because he hasn't... There's no situation where there's an accusation that he's lied in any way, and they can always just bring him in front of the committee and he'll just tell you. He takes an oath. And then if he says differently, he hasn't denied any of this stuff. That's why. And it's not illegal.
No man is bigger than the United States government. This guy has his position due to the consent of the governed. If this is true and he blows this polygraph, even though the polygraph information is not admissible in court, he should...
Okay. By the way, you can beat a polygraph with a rock or a tack in your shoe. No, he wasn't elected. He was appointed by an elected person. I'm sick of this deep state. These are unelected bureaucrats. They were appointed or hired by people who are in business. You fucking tool.
Put on trial for treason immediately.
Yeah, or you could go, what is the actual procedure in a circumstance like this? What how do we normally handle a situation like this? Well, we actually have stuff in place. We have systems in place that if the president were to lose his fucking mind and launch an attack, then the chairman of the Joint Chiefs would call the people that are being attacked as he's being removed, and then the vice president would attempt to issue a recall or order the missiles shot down, or, grown up shit.
Now, the scary part about this whole thing is Democrats have rushed to his defense. Why? Because as I discussed the other day, Democrats are involved in a cold civil war with the United States of America right now. They want this...
A cold civil war. We're going to be hearing that phrase a lot. He likes it. You can tell. It's a cold civil. It's more of a lukewarm civil war. I mean, obviously, well, no, technically speaking, it'd have to be cold. We're all snowflakes. I forgot.
Destroyed. They know that conservatives traditionally defend law enforcement and the military, and their goal...
Yeah, well, you fucking stop now. Since when? Since when? I will state unequivocally again that the 13 service members who died in the extraction of our civilians and our Afghan allies did not have to die if the Trump organization had not given the Biden administration 2 jobs to do instead of 1.
Triaging their efforts. Goal number 1 has been to take out the military's credibility with conservatives, so conservatives have no institutions to rely on, and they...
That's right. We're undermining your belief in the military because they keep doing their job instead of showing their fealty to Donald Trump. Good Lord.
They evaporate their faith in the system we have.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. It's a psyop against the Bonginos of the world. We're trying to make them hate the military because they hate the military.
At a collapse, and liberals rebuild a new one. They are involved in a cold...
Yes, it's going to be a new liberal army where everyone's going to have... All the guns will shoot daisies, and there will be, we will accept all bombings as our responsibility in the world, and anything that Reagan and Nixon and Johnson and perhaps even Kennedy or Truman, anything they did in the past, we who live now are totally responsible. So if somebody's going to, blow up a pipe bomb or not, strap themselves up with bombs and walk in black. I mean, we kind of have it coming, don't we? I mean, that's what Hassan Piker says, right? That's that we America deserved 9/11. So he'll obviously be the general in charge of the liberal restructuring of the military, which will be permanent stand down order, 24-hour Benghazi. What the fuck are you talking about, you chump?
War with America, teaching racism to our kids to get them to hate each other, degrading our military, teaching our military to hate each other based on skin color. The left is a clear...
Well, no, I mean, if you're trying to get like Peckerwoods and white supremacists out of the military so that they don't start a race war, that's to the benefit of everyone who's in the military, including the other white people in there who are not part of that group.
And present danger to the United States of America, freedom and liberty. And Mark Milley has joined them. Mark Milley's more concerned with white rage than he is with winning wars. The man should be tried.
Sorry, winning what war? Winning what war? Are we going with the we lost Afghanistan again? Now, so Trump sets up the May 1st date. Biden punts it 3 months so we can get the special immigrant visa folks out, so we can do right by the people that served us there. And arguably, we could have needed more time, but that's all the Taliban would agree, not to fire on Americans during that time. So Americans being the priority, that's what it took to get them out. And if the Trump administration had wanted to get any of these folks out, they could have gotten nearly all of them out by December after they had made this deal. Period. End of story. They could have started spiriting Afghans out of the country before we even started moving our embassy staff out. Could have done it easily. Didn't want to. Chose not to. Left that for the next administration. Didn't give a rat fuck about it. And so Trump sets up, he releases the deputy minister of the Taliban, whatever. They have a bit of a shitty government situation right now, to say the very least. He sets them up to win, undermines the Afghan government, knows they're going to fall. He even said it in that stupid Firehouse video I showed. Now, I knew they were going to fall the second we left, and we could have stayed for 10 years, and we should have stayed for 10 years. He was never going to leave, and he knew that they would fall, and he knew that if we started to leave, they would fall, and he didn't want that on his watch, so he didn't want the bad press that these assholes were giving to Biden right now, acting like there would have been another version of events. But ultimately, the 13 people that died are Biden's fault, not the people, who kept us in there for 20 years, and also the asshole who set up the deal to extract everyone and then didn't follow through with any of the material support and the actual mechanics of it.
Immediately. Institutions are collapsing everywhere. Liberals were involved in a coup. If he did this, he should be tried.
How are they involved in a coup? How is that a coup? Were we relying on Chinese nukes to get in power? Did Biden come into the White House and going, if you don't pack your shit, we're gonna nuke you? And they like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? Over under on attendance tomorrow? I think it's scattered groups about the size of the Alex Jones crowd that gathered on the 6th. Mix and match, people milling about. Yeah.
For treason. This was a coup. A military leader destroying the chain of command to notify an enemy is a very definition of a military coup.
They're not an enemy. We're not at war with them. We're not in a military war with them. They're an adversary on the world stage, clearly. But we're not in a hot war or even a cold war with China. And if we are, then Trump declared it and didn't tell anyone. And therefore, what did he manufacture his own Chinese version of the AUMF?
Of powers he did not have. Now, the Democrats have rushed to his defense, as I just said, because they want to destroy the country. Here's some audio video. Here's John Garamendi, a disgraced Democrat congressman, an embarrassment of a human being, right? Again, more proof that the 435 of the dumbest people on planet Earth all managed to get elected to Congress at the same time.
Weird. It must be something to be said about the American people in that regard. 435 of the dumbest American people? You don't want to actually go to the, let's say, like one of these sites that lists all the people who are actually in jail right now for there's over 600 of them who are in jail for attacking the Capitol. These people seem pretty dumb. There's more of them than there are Congress members. There's a stack of dum-dums in here. Look at that. There you go. Oh, there's a Sparks in there from Kentucky. Oh my God. Let's check out Michael Sparks. Derp. No relation. I don't know him. Sparks is pictured entering the Capitol building through a broken window when he allegedly helped break with other individuals. Once inside, Sparks appears to be nonviolent with Capitol police officers and with other individuals as well. Well, thanks for not totally besmirching the Sparks name. He's getting the trespassing and disorderly conduct thing. There's his indictment. There's his statement of fact. Here's the complaint against him. That's an unfortunate picture, Mike. I do not know a Mike Sparks. Is there a Bongino in there? I don't know. Is there a lot of Sparkses? How many Sparkses are in this? Nope. Just one. Thank God. All right, here we go. Well, we'll continue. Hold on.
Exceptions. Here's video audio.
Did you learn how to do broadcasting from Greg Kelly? Did you guys all go to the greasy forehead school of broadcasting? Honest to God. I know you're doing a radio show, but A, sit up straight. This whole, like, this is such a thing. Him and Greg Kelly, man. Always looking fucking straight down, like we all need to see their forehead ridge.
Of Garamendi. I don't know if it's MSNBC, CNN, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're going to take this as by rote, of course. We are to assume, as a member of Dan Bongino's audience, that this contains all the context you will need. This is a clip that the person in the clip put out that sums up everything, the argument they're trying to say. That is, of course, the standard that I use on my show, which is, sometimes these assholes get a little long in the tooth. It gets a little boring, I got to say, sometimes. You guys are... Thanks for being so entertainingly stupid, Dan. But there's a bunch of these where they put out a clip that this one's 10 minutes long. This clip from Dan Bongino is 10 minutes long. So I'm showing you what Dan Bongino puts out about his show. And this guy's going to pick a clip that he chose of someone else. And let's see what the edit's like.
But he absolutely knows. I just did absolutely. You should never say absolutely. Absolutely don't say. He absolutely knows that the Democrats were involved in a coup, and I'll produce the evidence in a second with Mark Milley.
A coup. A coup. They'd won the election, fucko.
Of our Constitution and the usurpation of powers. So now he has to accuse Republicans of doing the same thing, and he admits what I've been telling you. The verdict is in.
Oh, God. Look, if you're going to have props, bring your fucking A game. He's got a gavel. What are you, Judge Judy now? Judge Juicy. It's more like it. I kid. We have no evidence that Dan Bongino has used any performance-enhancing drugs.
The Dan Bongino show was correct. Self-praise stinks. Whatever. Just allow me for this 1 second. What did I tell you about the January 6th Commission? About the insurrection? That it was being used, using the air quotes here, of course, that was being used to distract you from what the Democrats were going to do in the 2022 election and the Democrats' problems, including their involvement in the coup. Here's Garamendi.
What? Why? How? Okay, we'll see. He's going to present an overlap. So the January 6th Commission is not to get to the bottom of the worst attack on our Capitol and the security failures around it and who might have participated in it and who, if anybody inside the Capitol was coordinating with people outside the Capitol or had given them tours or welcomed them in or told them on the day, or whether the president himself was coordinating with groups that knew that they were going to go from that thing and they were going to get orders, like Alex Jones said, that half hour before the end of the speech, they were going to head up to the Capitol and be ready, and then Oath Keepers were going to show up and there'd be this big push and they were going to turn over the whole thing and they were going to hang Mike Pence and shoot Nancy Pelosi and do God knows what to AOC. And that's not why the January 6th Commission was formed. It was formed so that the Democrats could hide the fact that Milley responded, a Trump appointee, responded to how Trump was flipping the fuck out, clearly out of his mind, and might attack a country just to stay in power.
Basically admitting right now the January 6th committee is being used to flush all this Milley information and the Democrats' real coup down the toilet. Check this out.
Okay, so that's what's going to happen. We're about to see him basically admitting, that this is all just to hide Milley and the coup and flush it down the memory hole.
He, General Milley, called a secret meeting in his Pentagon office of top military brass and basically said to them, if you get calls, no matter who they're from, there's a process here, there's a procedure, no matter what you're told, you do the procedure, you do the process, and I'm a part of the procedure, meaning he didn't want them responding really to calls from the commander-in-chief.
Or Jared, or Rudy Giuliani, or any number of, or Stephen Miller saying the president just is having a nap, but he told me fire on China. Like, nobody in this asshole circle gets to pull the trigger without all of us present, like doing our goddamn job. Judge Duty.
As he was involved as a member of the Armed Services Committee, do you see that as an end run somehow around the commander-in-chief?
Of course. Trump was unhinged by the election, by his loss in the election, and he displayed that clearly from the evening of the election right on through to today.
The other side.
He remains unstable with regard to his election loss. He clearly was.
I don't know why you would say such a thing. He is obviously protecting everyone and dealing with our. Where are they?
MAGA.
No, that's not the one. Where did I put it? List me. It's got to be way down here, I bet.
Q snatch.
That's just wrong. Hold on.
The company that his son worked for. That's
Burmism. I had it just a minute ago. Where'd it go? See in there. Oh, here it is.
Nuclear stockpiles.
Yeah, there's a sane man.
Building up our nuclear stockpiles.
Yeah, he's totally. I don't know why we're worried.
Be healed and really healed.
Yeah.
Building up our nuclear stockpiles.
Yeah, he's a totally sane human being with access to the goddamn button.
Engaged in the January 6th insurrection. He brought those people, he encouraged them to come, and he then encouraged them to march on the Capitol. All of that is known. The investigations of all of this are underway now. The Select Committee is delving into all of these communications.
There we go.
There we go. It just said it's not what I said would say. They're delving into all these communications. Please show me. Let's back up. I know we got a lot of times we end up seeing shit twice, but let's see this again. This is what Bongino says it's going to say.
Bongino show was correct. Self-praise stinks. Whatever. Just allow me for this 1 second. What did I tell you about the January 6th Commission? About the insurrection? That it was being used, using the air quotes here, of course, that was being used to distract you from what the Democrats were going to do in the 2022 election and the Democrats' problems, including their involvement in the coup.
Okay, so that's what it's for. And we just watched the clip. And then we'll see how Bongino says that what we just watched, which doesn't say that at all, that Milley called this together because they were concerned that Trump was losing his fucking mind, and that that he was fomenting this whole thing, and that they're looking into the communications that Trump had with coordinators of January 6th. It seems more aligned. It seems to more reinforce the idea that Milley was aware that Trump was a fucking lunatic and might do something illegal, awful, dangerous, or murderous. And it might justify even more extraordinary measures other than just the normal operating
Select Committee is delving into all of these communications.
There we go.
That was a cut. And a Select Committee is delving into all these communications. Cut. All right.
Oh, there we go. As I said to you there, my New York accent back. There we go. There we go. I told you what, 2-3 weeks ago, the entire purpose of the January 6th committee was to do the look, squirrel, shiny red object, to distract.
The fuck are you talking about? He just said they're aligned. Again, this is a man who, if you think his reading is terrible, he can't even comprehend words when he's watching them fall out of people's faces. Honest to God, this is some of the dumbest shit I have ever seen. Right? We do this. We've done this multiple times with Dan Bongino's show. He does this a bunch. Bongino, who's looking for TP for his bunghole. Danny Boy. Oh, Danny Boy. He does this all the time. He says, watch, this guy says da-da-da. And then we watch the video. The person does not say anything even remotely close. We come back from the clip and Bongino's like, told ya, nailed it.
You from what was going to come out about the Democrats in the coming 2022 election. They want to.
What? Wait a minute. What's going to come out about the Democrats in the 2022 election? Huh? What the fuck does the election politics of next year have to do with Trump's rigged election bullshit leading to an insurrection and the concern of the people in the White House around him that he put there, that he was losing his fucking mind and might murder lots of people to stay in power? What? Jesus.
Fear in the 2022 election. They are going to use subpoenas and an endless fear campaign with this January 6th committee to distract you from the reality that the Democrats were involved with Mark Milley in a coup, and Mark Milley should be on trial right now.
How are they involved in a plot with him? Because he called Nancy Pelosi because she's third from the presidency, and we couldn't find Mike Pence because Mike Pence was in the goddamn building on the 6th? This is so sad. But keep trying, Dan. But I gotta say, none of us know what the fuck you're talking about. I swear to God. These are words. They are in some semblance of order. I think you think they make sense. They don't. And it's based on some idea that the Democrats have this strategy that they're going to enact. That they're going to, this is the new Benghazi. And you're like, this is what they're trying to do with the thing. And it's like, working on this thing to make you forget. And while they're making us hate the military, they're going to line themselves up with a Trump-appointed general who realized way late in the game that his boss was a fucking lunatic. And then they're going to use that to hide the fact that we should still be in Afghanistan. What? Good Lord.
About me. Well, I want a hat tip, by the way. Hat tips are important. Jack Posobiec on his social media account pointed this out, and congrats to Jack on his new pod.
I see. So that guy posted something. This gave you the idea for the segment, and you're regurgitating a tweet you saw, which you thought made sense when you read it, and now we're all clear that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and that you populate your segments with the tweets and video clips of others. Okay. We've all gotten, this is like behind the scenes with the Bongino show. Hat tip, like tip of the hat to giving him it's a...
By the way, as well. The day Mark Milley allegedly made this phone call to the Chinese Communist Party, warning them, saying we would warn you about a nuclear strike in what I believe was an act of treason.
If we fire missiles on you, I'll call you about nukes. Like, don't worry, you'll hear from me right before you're nuked. And by the way, us calling them before we do a preemptive nuclear strike. I understand what the context is, because this is, by the way, Milley didn't even say nukes. Milley was talking about largely boats in the South China Seas or some sort of action that would be a kind of wag the dog moment where they would, the U.S. military would strike Chinese military or something. And there's a myriad of places they could do it. But because Dan Bongino is a big dum-dum and only thinks he's got 4 crayons for brain cells and he uses them by banging them with a hammer, he can only think nuke. And so nuke. So in his own brain, he can't actually wrap his head around the strategic aspect of South China Seas, standoff, whatever. It's got to be a nuclear strike. And there is no world in which we, in fucking January of this year, are launching a preemptive nuclear strike on the Chinese. At what point? This sounds like that guy was worried about nothing. You're placating him. Dude, well, I'll call you if we're going to nuke you. Believe me. We'll have several phone calls before the nukes fly. That's pretty reasonable considering mutual assured destruction, considering how many, hundreds of millions of Chinese civilians would die and how many Americans and South Koreans and everybody else, because once it starts, it cascades. It's like nobody's fucking, he's going to call them before a nuke. I'll tell you what, Dan Bongino, before I take a big duke on your head, I will call you. He's got ivermectin rage. Yeah, you think he's on the prednisone or whatever? There is no fucking way we're launching a preemptive nuclear strike on anyone without the Congress being involved, without there being some direct preliminary massive strike against us as well. Believe me, if there's going to be a shit ton of phone calls between the prime minister of or the military heads of other countries that we are going to think about dropping a fucking nuke on.
That day was January 8th. I want you to pay very close attention to this CNN tweet on the screen now. First, for those of you...
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told House Democrats that she got assurances there were safeguards in place in the event President Trump wanted to launch a nuclear weapon, according to multiple sources. Pelosi says she spoke to General Milley about Trump and the nuclear codes. Yeah, it lines up with this. You didn't freak out back then.
On Rumble. Look at the date on the bottom. January.
Right. They were worried. It was 2 days after the Trump coup.
8th, 2021. CNN. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told House Democrats that she's gotten assurances that there are safeguards in place.
By the way, I would like to point out, if I may, that this is Dan Bongino saying that CNN is a reputable source and their tweets are to be believed. I have no reason to doubt this CNN tweet based on the information that they might have, but I'm not the guy who tells you that CNN lies all the time and can't tell the truth and is always lying and full of lying liars and they lie all the time. Dan Bongino is. But right now, Dan Bongino wants you to know that Bob Woodward, who's a lying liar full of lies and lies, is telling the truth, and CNN is, who's a lying liar, full of lies and lies, is telling the truth.
Event President Trump wants to launch a nuclear weapon, according to multiple sources. Pelosi says she spoke with who's that at the.
And by the way, Robert Costa was part of the writing process. There were a bunch of people asking this because Trump was losing his fucking mind.
Am I missing that? Is that General Milley? Pelosi says she spoke to General Milley on January 8th. On the same day, Milley's alleged to have called the Chinese Communist Party to warn them, usurping the powers of the President of the United States?
Well, not usurping it. Recognizing that if there was an attack, they would know about it because it would be completely overboard and devastating and illegal and would be against the will of Congress, against the will of the American people. Even with COVID, I'm going to guess a plurality of Americans don't want to nuke millions upon millions of Chinese people. Just saying.
He says, Joe, is that a hump for you? What do you,
This is where he has to check in with his producer or whoever's across the desk to reassure him that he hasn't gone down a word hole that he can't climb out of. This happens all the time.
Sounds kind of like the Democrats were involved in a conspiracy and a coup.
Or it could be that was the day everybody was the most worried about Trump losing his mind because the 6th that happened, his response was terrible. He continued to spiral, and then the Chinese reached out about this. And at that point, by the way, the House was not going to okay a first strike against China that day. That would be part of the chain of command as well.
Stop the acting duly elected. He was still the president, President of the United States, from acting in his role as commander-in-chief.
How? if it was a legal act, he said, if we're going to hit you, I'll call you first. But it doesn't mean the missiles aren't going to come. If it was completely legal, if it was an actual warranted strike, if China decided to Pearl Harbor us on the 9th, this phone call doesn't mean shit, right? We all know this.
Yeah, that's right. Keep in mind, it's a good point he makes preemptively. It wasn't that the president had ordered a nuclear strike and they got in the way. That's bad. It's that they weren't even going to allow him to. God forbid. Now, listen, there was a 1 in a million chance.
1 in a million? So I guess, so there are 340 Americans who, if they were elected president, would launch a preemptive random nuclear strike on China. I mean, you can walk around. I've probably met those people. 1 in a million chance. Try 1 in a trillion, dipshit. We're not launching a preemptive nuclear strike on China apropos of fucking nothing.
Lord, and I'm not using his name in vain, that we would be in.
Excuse you?
That's bad. It's that they weren't even going to allow him to. God forbid. Now, listen, there was a 1 in a million chance, thank the Lord, and I'm not using his name in vain, that we would be in a nuclear strike with China. It's mad, mutually assured destructions. And
right, fucko. Yes, but the Chinese don't know that. And one of the reasons why we have mutual assured destruction is you make the other side aware that if they overstep their bounds because we're in transition or any of that shit, you're going to get hit. And I'll let you know, it'll be the last phone call you ever get. Don't even think about it. Just because we're a little shaky, understand.
Well, pun intended there.
Sorry, what pun?
Mutually assured destructions and, well, pun intended there.
Since when is that a pun? Motherfucker, that's actually the strategy. Mutual, South China Sea's military strike against boats, no pun intended. Oh, what a fucking bozo.
But can you imagine the tactical advantage to a nuclear-powered enemy, knowing you have entirely co-opted a political party, the Democrats, and the leaders of the military infrastructure so that the country's defenestrated in a 2-week period and you can attack them anytime you want?
No, you can't. There is no circumstance where that was like, go ahead, just fire on us anytime you want. And any world leader, by the way, that gets a phone call from someone saying that they are Mark Milley or the Joint Chiefs that says, go ahead and attack us. We're not going to do anything. I'll let you know if we're going to retaliate. This isn't about retaliation, fucko. This was never about retaliation. No one is even suggesting the concept of retaliation came up. This is about a nuclear first strike. There was no pun there. Everybody in the chat's like, pun? There's no pun. Oh. Spun's more like it. God damn.
Can you imagine the precedent this sets for the future with the Chinese Communist Party?
What precedent? They talk. Everybody else has talked. What in the world are you talking about? The precedent is we will negotiate before we launch a nuclear war, since there will be no winners and everyone will die.
Am I explaining this part right? Are you folks getting the strategic advantage? The Chinese Communist Party now knows they can manipulate U.S. politics and liberal idiots. I got more liberal idiots coming up. They can manipulate U.S. politics and liberal morons into their own enemy, the United States of America, giving up their nuclear power based on politics there, as long as they can take control of the political narrative in the country.
What are you talking about? They were worried we were destabilized and that we were going to launch a nuclear attack on them for nothing. In what world does he think that this is the same thing as saying if they fired nukes on us, we wouldn't retaliate and we're letting them, or we would just shrug it off, or the Democrats would even consider that? What the fuck are you talking about? by the way, the vast majority of China's nukes would leave the silos, spin out of control, and explode without nuking. They would just, the conventional explosives in them would blow them up. Just not the highest quality stuff. Look at the ships. I'm just saying.
Can you imagine this?
No, I can't, because it's ridiculous. Because you're ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But try harder. There's other people who've been arguing that Milley's a traitor and all that kind of. This is the general thought form around them. This is just the dumbest version we could find.
The Communist Party now knows this. As long as they can manipulate liberals into the country into hating the president, i.e. Donald Trump, so much, they can get liberals to agree to...
Well, Milley isn't a liberal. Milley's not a Democrat either. Milley doesn't hate the president. He's concerned he's fucking crazy at this point, and that he might launch an attack, or that, not even that it might even happen, but at one point he was obviously worried about that around November. But by the time January 8th came around, this is about a conversation that Trump wouldn't be able to surpass the normal chain of command and launch an attack just to stay in power, because he'd already tried to kind of foment his own militia coup. It failed. What was his second bite at the apple before January 20th? I mean, I don't know why I'm even arguing the logic of this nonsense.
Never strike China while China won't agree to never strike us. What a deal. The precedent is set.
What? Yeah. We won't give you a 45-second head start on your missiles. What do you think they're going to do? Shoot ours out of the sky? We have nuclear subs parked off of Beijing right now. And Shanghai. Did you not... Oh, by the way, let's all take a deep dive into the vacant areas of Dan Bongino's dome. Let's see. AUKUS. Yeah. Whoops. Whoops. There we go. This is what the liberals supposedly are doing. Remember how Trump was always complaining that our allies in Europe are always trying to screw us on trade, and nobody ever pushes back, and the Democrats don't know how to do it, and Trump's the guy to make that happen, and these guys don't know. Okay, let me show you something. This is what's happening actually right now. This is what Bongino and everybody at Fox News wants you to not know is happening or forget is happening. UK, US, and Australia launch pact to counter China. There's the Quad. We've heard about the Quad, the 4 countries involved in this, including Japan. This is specifically the UK, US, and Australia, but there's also the Quad that involves the South Asian nations and Australia. But this one announced a historic security pact. That's weird, because if you're just gonna do whatever China wanted, let me just show you how dumb Dan Bongino is. I mean, we all know he is dumb. But let's show how dumb. Let's see. EU. Let's see if I can do this. Deal. It's the... Yeah. The ACI, there's a new name for it. So this has been going on. Here you go. Let me try and expand this a little bit. So this happened. You know, we've been talking about Brexit and all the shit happening with the Great Britain pressing, back against the EU and the separation from them and yada, yada, yada. And then the UK, Australia, and the US have formed this pact to deal with China in terms of, we provide security for most of China's shipping, especially when it goes around Africa and other countries, which is very dangerous for everyone involved, but we've been letting them do it for free for a long time. This will let Australia built nuclear-powered submarines for the first time, and Biden made a statement about this. These are nuclear-powered. They do not have nukes. They are conventional warhead. They have torpedoes and guns and shit like that. We have nukes in the area. And these submarines will give cover to those things, but which is one of the reasons why China's freaking out about this particular deal and why they're mad about it. But it will let Australia build nuclear-powered submarines for the first time using technology provided by the U.S. The AUKUS Pact, which will also cover AI and other technologies, is one of the country's biggest defense partnerships in decades. China has condemned the agreement as extremely irresponsible. Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian said it seriously undermines regional peace and stability and intensifies the arms race. They don't have any money for the arms race right now, the Chinese. They're going to make people build shit, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be the highest quality stuff. They have their own problems. We've talked about this. Evergrande's just the tip of the iceberg. They have huge economic problems. They're becoming more isolationist. The Belt Road Initiative is collapsing in a bunch of countries, and they were counting on the money from the loans they did in the Belt Road Initiative to deal with their debts back home, and they're not getting paid. So it's getting fucked up. Cold War mentality and ideological prejudice, right? The pact also created a row with France. You know, those European allies that Trump was always shitting on because they aren't reciprocal with us with trade, which has now lost a deal with Australia to build 12 submarines. We're now going to build them. American companies and American technology in conjunction with shipbuilding places in Australia. It's really a stab in the back, France's Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian told France Info Radio. The new partnership was announced in a joint virtual press conference between U.S. President Joe Biden, Boris Johnson, and his Australian counterpart Scott Morrison on Wednesday. And while China was not mentioned directly, the three leaders referred repeatedly to regional security concerns, which they say have, quote, grown significantly. Australia's risky bet to side with the U.S. over China. It's not risky at all. It's their only choice. Meanwhile, there's been this EU-China investment deal that's been sitting for a while. It was slowed down by COVID, but now they're ginning it back up. Let's see, both sides. Yeah, there's a lot of complaints about how the Chinese were saying they would live up to certain protections, not steal European technology, all the stuff they do with us, and the Europeans aren't necessarily buying it. But this is happening, right? An investment pact between the European Union and China is still possible. Both sides may wait until 2023 for the earliest to ratify the deal, said an analyst from Eurasia Group. EU and China agreed on the deal in December. There it is. Boink. This is it. China scores an EU investment deal before Biden takes office, and it wants to do more. This is why. Who was president before Biden took office? So the European Union, and specifically Germany and France, have been leaders on this EU deal with China for, an extension of sort of it is a comprehensive agreement on investment. And the deal was rushed into place and comes before Joe Biden is sworn in as president. In contrast to the Trump presidency, Biden's administration is widely expected to work alongside allies such as the EU to manage relationships with China, i.e. push back. Trump wasn't interested. He was too busy getting his daughter's patents cleared. So these submarines that are going to be built with U.S. tech are going to be built by U.S. workers in conjunction with Australian workers to push back against China, to create a net against their expansion in the South China Seas, and to protect Taiwan and all that. I mean, this is on Earth One, as Rachel Maddow likes to put it. In reality, this is happening. Okay, right now, this is what the Biden administration is actually doing. Beyond the bullshit that this dickhead is telling you that Milley and Nancy Pelosi and China were all in cahoots together to kick Trump out. Meanwhile, this is what's happening while Biden is in office. Yeah, you wouldn't include the French because you wouldn't want it to be FAUCUS. And this is what was rushed through during the final months of the Trump administration because he didn't give a shit and wasn't paying attention. And the Biden administration have been against this from the start. It is precisely why they didn't do it. And the French are fucking pissed. Why this pact signals a AUKUS, UK, US, Australia pact signals Asia-Pacific power shift. This is the gathering that they had virtually. The timing of the New Deal is particularly significant. It comes just a month after the U.S. exit from Afghanistan, when doubts have been raised in multiple quarters about U.S. commitment in the region, meaning pushing back on China. What we've decided to do is not push back from an area of land they don't give a fuck about that we can just fly over, but push back from the seaside where it matters. This is actual strategy happening. Britain, too, is eager to be more involved in the Asia-Pacific, especially after its exit from the European Union, and Australia is increasingly concerned about China's influence. It is a big deal because this really shows that all three nations are drawing a line in the sand to start and counter the Chinese Communist Party's aggressive moves into the Indo-Pacific. It also publicly demonstrates our combined stance on this and commitment to a stable and secure Indo-Pacific region, one that for the past 70 years has led to prosperity of all in the region, including China's economic growth. What does it involve? It involves sharing information and technology in a number of areas, including intelligence and quantum technology, AI, as well as the acquisition of cruise missiles. This is one of the reasons why China is also freaking out. This is something also that the Trump administration was not for. This is now something that the U.S. is providing Australia in this case. But the nuclear submarines are key. They're built in Adelaide in South Australia and will involve U.S. and U.K. providing consultation on technology for their production. Mainly patents for a lot of the stuff that's in them and the nuclear material for it, which we will provide and maintain and all that kind of stuff, which is part of the budget and blah, blah, blah. A nuclear submarine has enormous defense capabilities and therefore ramifications for the region. Only 6 countries in the world have nuclear submarines. They are really powerful deterrent capability without giving them nuclear weapons. There you go. Nuclear submarines are more stealthy than conventional ones. The Chinese won't know where they are. How will Asia react? Not well. President Biden will host the first in-person meeting of the leaders of the Quad group. That's these guys. That's the next step. So this is happening. This is happening to counter that this is happening. And this dumbass couldn't even comprehend the strategic level of moves that are being made right now around the South China Seas, pushing back, protecting Australia, protecting Taiwan, that the UK, the US, and Australia are. And remember, what did we do, was it about a month ago? We were talking about how our special relationship with the UK is dead, right? As we left Afghanistan, our special relationship, it's a special relationship. It's dead now. Remember that whole conversation when we left Afghanistan? And we were telling people, look, don't send guys with guns into the street to pick up your people. Just go get them, or we'll go get them. But don't kill anybody on the way because it'll start a hot war, and we just want to get everybody out as quickly as possible. And there was all this back and forth, and he wasn't even returning Boris Johnson's call for fucking 4 days. Remember that? That was a whole conversation. He wasn't even, or for 48 hours, was it? 48 hours, right? Well, apparently everybody's made up. Everybody's fine now. They're over it. They recognize the importance of the threats they're dealing with, and they're sucking it up. And this guy likes this guy more than this guy likes this guy or this guy. Just so you know. That matters, but not a whole lot. He's a little confused. But this whole pact, it has value. And mainly, this is what's going on. The U.S. and Australia aligning to push back against China in the Indo-Pacific is fucking enormous. But Dan Bongino thinks that Nancy Pelosi was going to tell that China that they could blow us up. That's it. That's the end of it. Hold on. Wait.
The Chinese Communist Party now knows this. As long as they can manipulate liberals into the country into hating the president, i.e. Donald Trump, so much, they can get liberals to agree to never strike China while China won't agree to never strike us. What?
Can you imagine if that wasn't the second dumbest thing anyone's ever fucking said in their whole life? Hold on, let me see if this will even work. What? Can you guys, what? 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 I can't understand. What? They're just gonna let them nuke us? When did that happen? What the hell? I need some protein, and I need to juice up. They're gonna just let them go, everybody. Nancy Pelosi probably speaks Chinese. I saw her dancing. She was dancing in Chinatown. What? What? Yeah. What? Sorry. I should have some hair on the top of my head for this bit, but I don't have a filter that does that. What? Hold on. This is so stupid. Sorry.
Liberals to agree to never strike China while China won't agree to never strike us. What a deal. The precedent is set.
God, can you imagine being that big a dipshit? Do you think... I don't watch Dan Bongino's show. Maybe one of our trolls watches the show. You think Dan Bongino has the cranial space? I mean, I know he's got the space, but he's got the cognitive ability, the ability to link thoughts together strongly enough to process in his brain the AUKUS agreement versus the French-led China deal in the EU with China, and the pushback against that, and the fact that we are now providing technology to Australia to make nuclear-powered subs that, and aligning that and using those things to push back against Chinese expansion in the region. You think he can put those thoughts together? Do you just think all the elements of those things like bounce off each other like atoms that are spinning too fast? Boink. My head isn't the shape of a bowling ball. Yeah, you said no take backsies, China declaring war probably. That's right. A Rogan wannabe. It's true. Bald heads can be sexy. I'm not against it. I might try it one day, but it's a long way off. All right, so that was fun. So we all lost Grant. Hold on. We all watched Grant Stankfield lose his shit when he had somebody come on, a veteran, who said, yeah, the Trump administration was limiting as many of the SIV people as they could to slow down the entire process. And as we sped up that process and try to get people out, that required more resources that could have been used for security and other stuff. So, yeah, Trump is fucking responsible for the deaths of those service members. Because he left more on the plate of the next president than he had to, considering they knew the exit strategy was there. Of course, he did that because he was always planning on staying. Stankfield, trying not to lose his shit. Stankfield is stanky. Grant Stanky, former White House counsel, won't release documents pertaining to the Russian hoax. Former White House counsel. What was the White House counsel? So, this isn't, you're not attacking a Trump appointee, are you? You're not attacking someone that was viewed as an ally to the cause or anything. I mean, just judging from the title. No? Maybe? Yes? Could be? We see. Shall we? Shall we see what, it's probably Nancy Pelosi's fault.
Welcome to Stinchfield. When news
It's pronounced Stankfield, and no one is welcome.
broke that the special counsel appointed by the Trump administration
it had to be Durham, didn't it? Yeah. The great white-bearded hope. Yes. I so wish I had a Durham. I don't even know what that is. That is like, it's like you wouldn't, it's the goatee version of Michael McDonald's face.
to investigate the origins of the Russian collusion
It's pronounced oranges. Really, the oranges, the beginnings, the oranges of
investigation, indicted an attorney connected to Hillary Clinton. That's the belief. I said to myself, that's it?
Yeah, that's it. Sorry. And the guy's not going to be found guilty either. He won't even get a Michael Flynn sentence. Count on it. Bye.
Cybersecurity guy who's being accused of making false statements to the FBI. This investigation has been going on for years, and this is all we get?
Yep, that's all you get. Well, no, that's not true. You get to flail about on your show and be really angry and log into Fiverr and create something. Durham dud.
Is some attorney tied to the
Found a picture of Trump looking at, like, here's Hillary just like, I think I'll have ice cream because this thing fell apart. And Trump like, you were supposed to save me.
And see, where are the FBI agents that colluded and falsified documents to sink President Trump? Where
they don't exist. The one guy who falsified information was actually making it less of a chance that Carter Page would get his the warrant against Carter Page would continue. He actually, the changes he made it less likely that they would re-up the warrant against Carter Page. He was helping Carter Page. He would have helped Carter Page. But no one can help Carter Page because fuck Carter Page. Carter Page is a dum-dum. And he's an awful person. And he's so stupid that nobody emails him anything. He's a courier. They give him an envelope. They tell him to deliver it. They tell him bad things will happen to him if he doesn't give it to the right person when he arrives. And then he goes and does whatever his speech is that is his cover story, and then he comes home. That's what he does. That's what Carter Page did. No one would ask Carter Page for economic advice. Carter Page is a dum-dum. Everybody knows Carter Page is a dum-dum. Everybody thinks he's a dum-dum. Everybody in the Trump organization thought he was the stupidest person they'd ever met. Whatever you do, don't email anything to Carter Page. He will hit reply all. Got it. Totally in on the conspiracy, reply all. Just give him the paper. Don't tell him what's in the envelope and tell him to drop it off. He can meet. He's only supposed to meet people backstage at events for a couple of seconds so that if they ever ask him, he can say, I think I met him backstage for a couple of seconds. And nobody on the committee is allowed to ask if you handed him anything. Notice how that question never came up with Carter Page? When you got there, you communicated with people? I just talked to them a little bit. Did you hand them anything? What? Did you hand them anything? Did you hand them an envelope per se? Did anybody in the Trump administration give you anything physical to pass along? I plead the fifth. All right. Yeah. Great dum-dum. What's the fifth? I don't know, but I think it comes between the fourth and the sixth, I'm pretty sure.
The Clinton staffers and government higher-ups that I am convinced played a role in the...
Well, that's all I need. All I need to know is that Grant Stankfield is convinced. I'm convinced. If he's convinced, I'm convinced. Then you as the viewer should be convinced.
Illegal smear campaign against President Trump and his allies. So I may have some answers here.
His allies? Oh, Putin. Right. Gotcha. Sorry. Okay.
A former White House insider with direct knowledge surrounding the Russian collusion case tells me before leaving office, President Donald Trump declassified thousands of Russian collusion documents. I'm told those documents directly implicate a number of FBI agents. I'm also told they will prove those agents weaponized the FBI and engaged.
Yeah, but he declassified them. The second he declassified them, he could have put them on a thumb drive, handed them to Rudy Giuliani, and had Rudy Giuliani post them on the web the second he decided to do it. Yeah, I'm told that Donald Trump declassified all these documents that don't exist. But if they did exist, he declassified them. And then the minute he declassified them, he put them on a USB thumb drive that is apparently still up Rudy Giuliani's ass.
Criminal activity. These documents will also show the FBI waged illegal political warfare on behalf of none other than the Democrats and of course.
Yeah, as they always do. You know, the FBI, They're just full of lefties.
The Hillary Clinton campaign. This high-ranking source from inside the Trump White House tells me former White House counsel Pat Cipollone, the custodian of those documents, is disobeying a direct order from his former boss by refusing to release the documents.
Well, I mean, they're released, aren't they? They're declassified. So they exist. If they've been declassified, unless somebody reclassified them, they exist. You could, anybody in the DOJ who's even friendly to Trump could just put them out.
President Trump even directed Cipollone to turn over those unclassified documents to a well-known reporter, highly respected for his in-depth and fair reporting on the Russian collusion hoax.
Who's that? Gateway Pundit?
Talking about John Solomon from Just the News. He never got those documents.
That's weird. He never got those. So John Solomon's telling you that he was supposed to get some shit and he never got it. And if he'd gotten it, he totally would have written about it, but he didn't get it. Why didn't he get it?
All of that, I'm told, has yet to happen.
I'm told. By who, fucko? By who? Sorry, whom? By whom? Whom has told you this, Stankfield? Because I call bullshit. It's Kanye. It's totally Kanye. You're right.
I'm also told President Trump only learned just this week that Pat Cipollone, his White House counsel, refused to follow through with his order to release the documents in...
He declassified them. He doesn't have a copy of them himself with his own personal documents when he left. I mean, it was an act of the presidency. He could declassify whatever he wanted. So he declassified them and what? He declassified them, put them on a thumb drive and gave them to Pat Cipollone and said, hold on to these. I don't really mean it. So what you're saying is this guy who hired this guy who's a traitor and a liar and other pejoratives, but this guy who hires only the best people hired somebody who won't release these documents that somebody you know told you he has and that he declassified that he just found out haven't been released, even though they would have been released and they would have totally exonerated him. But Trump only noticed this week that they haven't gotten out, even though they would totally eat the whole case. And he just figured this out this week. What? And that he doesn't have a copy of these declassified documents? What the fuck are you talking about? I'm getting... All right. Stankfield is definitely giving Bongino a run for his money. I'm just saying.
Their entirety. So instead, they sit hidden from public view.
Where could they be? Goonies never die. Where are we going to meet up?
Walked, apparently, by a man who should be loyal to President Trump.
Why? Didn't he take an oath of office and pass a security screening when he was in the office? Maybe he should be loyal to the United States of America. Maybe he is being... Hey, Stankfield, let me float something for you. A famous philosopher once said, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you might get what you need. Maybe Pat Cipollone is hiding these things because this asshole thinks they exonerate him, but his lawyer knows they absolutely don't. Perhaps, let me just say it, perhaps this guy and whoever you're talking to are equally stupid. And they think the information in that, kind of like the transcript, is a perfect phone call. I don't know why anybody would be upset about the perfect phone call. And you're like, asshole, your perfect phone call includes a crime. You can't threaten to not deliver foreign aid that Congress has arranged to give in exchange for political help. You can't do that's a crime. But he thinks it's a perfect phone call. Maybe similarly, Stankfield, this asshole and whoever your buddy is who's blowing smoke up your ass that there's magic documents on a thumb drive somewhere, maybe just maybe this guy actually did hire somebody who has his best interests in heart and knows full well that all this shit will be even worse for him, and that's why he's not releasing it. That, of course, is predicated on the nonsense that this exists at all, and you're not making up your friend. Perhaps, just perhaps, Grant Stankfield's friend has these documents stored in his buddy in Trinidad's swollen testicles.
Now it appears, what? Is he part of the deep state establishment?
Yeah, everybody. Suddenly everybody who gets a look at Trump's criminal activities up close is suddenly a deep state actor instead of going, Instead of going, oh, you're a dangerous lunatic. I thought they were just picking on you. I see.
This refusal to release all of the Trump declassified documents is...
Why didn't Trump have them? Well, if he declassified them, why does Pat Cipollone have the only copy? We're supposed to believe that shit? We're supposed to believe that Pat Cipollone has the only copy of these declassified documents. How, why, what? And that these are the documents that would totally throw everybody. Nancy Pelosi's going to jail for colluding, and the collusion never happened, and it's totally going to exonerate him. The exonerating documents that totally get Trump off the hook. There's one copy on a zip drive. They're up Pat Cipollone's ass, and he refuses to fart. This is so stupid.
Reason why other former White House insiders loyal to President Trump believe the Durham report may be delayed. They tell me Pat Cipollone...
Who's they? Who's they, Grant? I'm sorry. Monsieur Stankfield. Who are they? Who's your anonymous source? Come on, tell us. You remember what you used to tell us about anonymous sources? Who are they? Come on. Tell us who they are. Why don't they have a copy? They were allies of former President Trump, and they didn't have a copy. Why didn't they get a copy? Were they not sufficiently trustworthy? Were they known liars? Did Trump not trust them, so he didn't want to give them the documents for fear that they would modify them and release them piecemeal, like Rudy Giuliani and his deep fake bullshit Hunter Biden nonsense?
History, and this is their quote, of underserving President Trump, and caused, quote...
You would never do that. Grant would never underserve him. He would get right under there and serve him. That's the great thing about Grant Stankfield, I gotta say, is that Grant would crawl right under there and and service the president.
Much frustration inside the Trump White House. Now, I tried to reach out to Pat Cipollone to get his response to these allegations. I left him a voice message. I texted him.
Yeah, you have his personal number? That's weird. And he's not returning your phone call?
Allegations are he's disobeying President Trump.
Disobeying President Trump. Disobeying. You know how fucked up that sounds?
Sitting on these important documents. I only got a call from an associate who disputed the slow walk allegation, insisting Durham has all the documents he needs.
Yeah, except the fart air fantasy documents that you have dreamt up in your goddamn head. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Grant Stankfield. Glad to meet you.
Trump should be outraged by all of this.
What isn't he outraged by? He has two emotions right now, outrage and confusion. Trump, it literally has a coin he flips on how to feel about shit. Outraged, or how could the, this is a disgrace. How do you say fart in Chinese? Feng pi. Feng pi. It's a butt wind, effectively. Feng is wind, pigu is ass, so feng pi.
It's more evidence that my president never knew who he could fully trust, even inside his own White House.
See, that's what happens when you run on I alone can fix it, and I know all the best people. How do you call him your president? How do you actually think this asshole has any skills whatsoever if he literally built a White House surrounded by no one he could trust? By the end of his presidency, he could not trust anyone. Now, granted, he's not a trustworthy person, and the reason he couldn't trust people is because he hired some trustworthy people, and even though they were kind of a little shady, they were like, yeah, even I have a line. But wasn't the whole point, I could figure this out so fast, we could get people in there, I know the best people, these people are stupid, we have stupid people running things, right? Only the best people. But he couldn't trust fucking anybody. Nobody but Ivanka and Rudy.
That, I believe, was his biggest challenge as president.
His biggest challenge. You mean the people he hired? Fucking hell.
As for that indictment against the Democrat lawyer, Michael Sussman, he stands accused of making false statements to the FBI during the 2016 presidential campaign. The indictment is for lying to the FBI about potential cyber links between a Russian bank and a company owned...
No. Oh, no, that's not what it's about. The indictment is he was telling them about a possible cyber link between the Russians and the Trump organization, but he didn't apparently list that he was a lawyer that was working for the Clinton campaign. He didn't mention that. That's the part, not the part that he brought this up.
By former President Donald Trump. Now, the FBI found no merit to Sussman's allegations. Absolutely none.
None. No, absolutely not. I mean, they couldn't look, and they weren't allowed in, and they couldn't get clearance to look for the stuff, and they certainly couldn't go after the money during the Mueller report, and money is the exact reason how and why Putin manipulated Trump and made him do what he wanted. But no, they couldn't find anything.
The New York Times reports Durham investigators believe Sussman was actually secretly working for the Clinton team at the time. Sussman, of course, denies that and any wrongdoing. His lawyers insist he'll be cleared. We shall see.
Right, but that's the part that he's actually indicted for, is whether or not he was working directly with the Clinton campaign or just worked with the law firm that did it, and whether disclosing it or not disclosing it was, mitigatory to, his claims of what Trump was up to.
I want, though, are those documents related to the Russian collusion investigation?
Well, I'm sorry. It's like when a little kid swallows a penny. You're just going to have to go to Rudy Giuliani's house, wait outside the bathroom, and look at your watch, like the rest of us.
Declassified by President Trump before he left office. There were thousands of them.
No, there wasn't. There were not thousands of them. They don't exist. They do not. If they existed, someone else would have them. And let's say there's only one copy of these are the, oh God, this is so fucking Trump. This is so Trump. There's only one copy digitally, because this is not like printed out paper. This is not like the last Boy Scout where he's like, fast forward eats the tape. You son. Now our evidence is ruined. Fast forward eats the tape. How am I supposed to know that? We got one piece of evidence. Your stupid car eats the tape. Let me get this straight. Let me explain as much as I understand the allegation that Stankfield is making. Donald Trump declassified FBI documents that would totally exonerate him, that show that there was a huge conspiracy. The Russia collusion narrative was a total hoax. It would totally get him off the hook. It would show a conspiracy to behind the scenes with the Democrats and the FBI and other people to connivingly control the narrative around this and impeach him and all this shit. And he had one copy of those documents. He declassified them totally. Now they still exist everywhere in the chain of command and in the servers at the FBI, allegedly, but they're only, not anymore. I take it back. They were erased from the FBI servers. They exist only on one hard drive or one thumb drive. And he gave them to Pat Cipollone, who promised to release them. And Cipollone says there isn't anything else. I gave everything I have to Durham. So if Durham doesn't have them, they don't exist. But we're to believe that this magic document, this magic flood of documents, exists randomly in the ethers. But Trump declassified them. There's only one copy, and the only guy that has a copy won't release them because he's insufficiently loyal to Trump. Fucking hell.
They need to be released.
They need to exist, dumb shit. They need to exist. This is so stupid. Pat Cipollone said they don't exist. Pat Cipollone was Trump's lawyer. Trump hired him to make sure that he didn't go to jail. Pat Cipollone is not a nice person. Pat Cipollone is not a Democrat. He's not a liberal. He's as loyal to Trump as his job title carries it, which means he won't commit a crime for his client, but he will get his client freed on any crime that he can. Yeah, it's on a 1 1/4 inch floppy disk. It's like an old-fashioned, it's on a 5 inch. Like,
them from the public is about as swampy as it gets. Well, joining me now is the founder of Just the News, the reporter, the man who should have been given all of those documents.
That's what it is. He just didn't, they exist. They totally exist. Somebody told me they totally exist. Guys, they totally exist.
Trump's direction, John Solomon. John, welcome to the program.
Great to be with you. You got that story just right about the document.
Did he? Because I think all of us are fucking confused. Not so much about the fantasy documents you're talking about, but please explain to me, both of you dumb fucks, explain to me how you think the sun shines out of Trump's ass and the one true tan only comes from that sunshine. And yet, you're trying to convince me that Trump declassified documents that would have gotten him off the hook, made one copy of them, gave them to his lawyer, and his lawyer refuses to release them. Durham never got a copy, and you were supposed to get a copy, but they just went away. But Trump totally should be president again, because he's doing like 5th level chess. He's playing Spock chess, bitches. Like that, really?
No doubt about it.
Yeah, lots of doubt, dum-dum.
John, what's in him? Why would he hold these documents from you? This could help the president. It could help inform the public.
Yeah, and since they're declassified, couldn't anyone in government look at them? Like Jim Jordan or Devin Nunes, who's been known to scatter documents about? Couldn't any of them, because they've been declassified, get another copy of them and get them to fucking everybody?
Yeah, listen, on the 19th of January, I met with the president. I was told I was going to get these documents. I got to see them in a declassified state that night, and I was told a box was coming my way in the next 24 hours, and that didn't happen. And it's funny, that night as all this was going on... and
a box. By the way, I totally believe this story. I'm just disappointed he didn't use the word sir.
Tell me, a handful of people scooped up some of the documents that
That's what it was. You didn't have a proper size scoop?
The tables. They're classified, nothing wrong with this. And they just threw them in an envelope and sent them to me because they were fearful that something was going to happen to the larger batch. And I think over the last 8 months, their fears have come true. So very shortly after the president declassified, I was able to break some very big stories. I got a hold of all of Christopher Steele's FBI handling reports.
We saw this shit earlier. But somehow, all the stuff you got a hold of, which was the parts that they thought would be most crucial to you, still don't exonerate the president. Weird. There's got to be something. What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? All right.
Including his September 17 report, where he basically told the FBI not only was he working for Hillary Clinton, he wasn't really sure what he had was real or even truthful or accurate. So we were able to get some of those out, but the large batch of those that were declassified and were never given to me, I've now been told that the lawyers did not comply with the president's instructions to give them to me or to the public, and they were sent now to the National Archives where we have to hunt for them there.
Yeah, that's they're being hidden by the deeps in the swamp of the National Archives.
And look, it's going to be freedom of information requests. They could stonewall you now to get those documents when you could have just been given to you.
Well, Pat Cipollone has a copy of them. Pat Cipollone has a copy. He just said Pat Cipollone, and he told you your buddy at the White House that's a loyalist to Trump said that Pat Cipollone has a copy. Didn't we just go through all this shit?
I've said for 4 years while President Trump was in office, his biggest challenge was knowing.
Can't Stop Lying says, hold on one second. I was doing the pit thing too. Yeah. What's in the box? What's in the box?
Who he could trust in that White House. I don't know why he wouldn't comply with the order. Do you have any idea why Pat Cipollone would not comply?
Yeah, because he works for China.
Don't know who made the final decision, who had what. I've heard different names of different people that had the documents in their possession. But at the end of the day, the biggest loser isn't John Durham. It isn't President Trump. It's the American public.
That's true. I feel like I've been cheated.
Documents would give us a complete accounting of one of the greatest political dirty tricks ever carried out in America.
And yet they just don't exist. And then by the time we get a Freedom of Information Act, nobody will care about the truth anymore. And Trump will be, found huffing paint in an alley someplace.
In history, and the president did the right thing. He declassified them, and somehow the team around him has managed to keep it from the American public for nearly 9 months.
It's unbelievable. Like it's almost like he didn't hire the best people.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that just infuriates me, and it should infuriate
everything. Infuriates you.
Everybody who supports President Trump and is in search of the truth, which is really all we want. So that brings us to this latest indictment. You know, I call it somewhat of a dud. I mean, I'm interested that he's supposedly connected to the Clinton campaign and you know, he lied to investigators. Fine. But where are the big indictments that we've all...
well, Durham was supposed to be magic, man. It was going to turn the whole thing, and then we'd decertify. Oh, man.
Waiting for.
Yeah, so there's still much more activity. This indictment was only handed up today because there was a statute of limitations of September 19th. It's 5 years to the day when Mr. Sussman met with the FBI and gave them what essentially turned out to be a bogus Russia collusion allegation.
There's a whole bunch more coming. Welcome to the right-wing version of the Mueller. There's got to be more to the Mueller report.
There are more things in the work. There's more grand jury activity. This investigation was delayed for a long time by witnesses who challenged subpoenas and fought Special Prosecutor Durham. So it's been much more slow, but this is a prosecutor that is tenacious, and I don't think he is anywhere near being done. I think you may see more indictments. And you
might, yeah. You won't.
See a really remarkable, robust report based on the reporting I'm doing. But there's one important thing to think about tonight. There was a little preemptive leak last night in the New York Times, but when we got the indictment...
Oh, New York Times is a good source then, according to Newsmax and this dude? Just so we're clear?
Mr. Sussman's activities are pretty egregious. He was paid by the Hillary Clinton campaign to put together this allegation of secret computer communications between Moscow and Trump.
Or investigate it and put together a red sheet about it.
He gave it to the FBI. The people around him told him it might be a red herring. It didn't look to be true. He nonetheless then walked it into the FBI.
Oh, you mean the Trump loyalist kind that were supporting Trump? Who were like, I don't know.
To the general counsel, very high in the FBI, gave him the documents and told the guy, according to the indictment, I'm not doing this on behalf of any client. I'm actually doing this because I'm a good citizen. The FBI took that as, well, okay, we'll go look at it. They later found out that this man, Mr. Sussman, was charging all this work to Hillary Clinton's campaign, including the day he met with the FBI. He billed the Hillary Clinton campaign for that. This was a dirty political trick.
Oh, terrible.
And it ties the Clinton campaign to this, which is really what we've suspected all along. That's the big news here, right, John?
Absolutely.
If
and
I
remember,
may, notice how there is absolutely no conversation, no part of this conversation. Hold on, I've got to erase somebody who's trying to get somebody to call a WhatsApp number to get cured from whatever. Out of my, a red herring. I don't care what flavor it is. It's just delicious. Well, hold on. Back up. Let me, right here.
We've suspected all along. That's the big news here, right, John?
Absolutely. And remember, what Sussman's doing is going on simultaneous to what Christopher Steele's doing. Same month, Christopher Steele's meeting with media.
Oh, because he worked for the law firm. He billed hours for the law firm or whatever. But again, is everything, like, let's say you're a lawyer. You work for a firm, you do certain work for Kellogg's, right? And you find out that in your lawsuit, that you've got a lawsuit against another company, right? While you work for, your billing hours to Kellogg. And another company that Kellogg has a lawsuit against, while what's going on criminally, they're doing something criminal. It has nothing to do with what you're doing civilly with them. You're in a civil lawsuit against them, but they're involved in criminal behavior. You can't bring that criminal behavior into the civil court. But you work 6 hours that day on the civil side of the case. And you take some of the evidence and the stuff that you've drafted up about some of the other allegations that you know now are not going to be part of the civil case, and you walk them over to the police station and you go, hi, this isn't part of my actual work as a lawyer. This is just fucked up. Here, you guys should look into this. Should that be illegal? That they're arguing it should be.
with the FBI, meeting with the State Department, and all of these Clinton operatives are trying to flood the FBI with Russia, trying to make it look like there was a Donald Trump problem that we now
or make people recognize that there was a Donald Trump problem.
Didn't exist.
Did exist.
Yeah, amazing. John Solomon, you've done tremendous work on the Russian collusion hoax.
Yeah, your work with documents that don't exist is the best in the business. Well, I appreciate it.
Stories as well. I appreciate you coming in and laying out the story about these documents. I wish you would have gotten them. It would have saved us a lot of time. That's for sure.
Yeah, I wish you'd have gotten them. I wouldn't have had to pretend they exist all this time.
Well, I'm not going to sleep until we get them.
Well, you do look like you've been missing sleep. I will say that. Jesus Christ. Hold on. We have so much stuff today, and I'm like, the time is just breezing by. Let's see. Where do we go? Well, let's just go to, since we're dealing with lunatics that have a lot of difficulty grasping logic, reality. No other person, no one exemplifies that better than the back of Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck spends all this money on the studio, and then this is his go-to shot on his show all the time. He's got these two giant screens on either side of him, each of which costs about $1,500. He's got a major one in front of him that's like the $3,000 model. Oh, believe me, I've checked prices. Don't forget to like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, and we're so close to 25,000 subscribers. So pass the show around, infotainmentwars.com. Don't forget to subscribe. Please hit the subscribe. You don't have to hit the notification bell even. You'll drive yourself crazy. You know when I'm on. Just come by when you can. The notification bell is for people who post more than they go live. Yeah. So this is this whole big studio. He's got all this, and he's got this wide-angle lens. Look how it bulbs out the side of the glass here. This is not a round room. He's using a wide-angle lens. It's giving him a fisheye effect. Thank you, Sarah, for hosting me. And Guy November, thank you for resubscribing for 13 months. That's awesome. Anonymous, thank you for gifting that subscription. And Diana Turner, thank you for the super chat. Lost another employee to COVID, unvaccinated. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Diana. So this was 3 examples that prove the far left. Okay, so I guess what do they consider far left? Anyone who thinks that slavery was ill-advised, is that far left to Glenn? Is that what they? We'll see. All right, far left. Fringy far left.
He is on a trip to the United Kingdom.
Hold on. Who is? Back up.
Nancy Pelosi.
Okay.
Is
the Speaker of the House, Madam Speaker, to you.
Trip to the United Kingdom. Please keep her. She's yours.
That is so funny. That's so. I haven't heard a good "take my wife, please" joke in a long time.
I know you like really, 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 really old ladies to be in charge of things in your country. Sure, yours isn't bat crap crazy, but can you take this one too?
Just so, it's so sharp. It's just, it's so cutting. I don't know how, anyway, I don't know how, has anyone checked on Nancy Pelosi? Has she recovered? This kind of roasted, I've never seen.
Anyway, Nancy Pelosi.
That's how you want to end a good comedy take. Anyway.
On a trip to the United Kingdom. She was in
wait a minute. So she's going to the United Kingdom? Okay, I just want to clarify.
And this is what she said.
Look at this, day 18, left behind in Afghanistan. What? Day 18. Is this a countdown graphic he has on his show every day? For real? Glenn, if you're in Afghanistan and the Taliban isn't bringing you enough ice cream, blink twice. Left behind in Afghanistan. You're not there, motherfucker. If you're going to make a graphic like that, put a banner across the bottom, make it long ways, and say Americans left behind. That's what you're saying. day 18 left behind in Afghanistan? Or is this day 18 of your nonstop reading of the Left Behind novels in Pashto? So stupid.
China.
We've always felt connected to China. But
sorry. I want to hear the whole sentence there.
We've always.
And this is what she said about China.
We've always felt connected to China. But with their military aggression in the South China Sea,
listen to
with
this.
their continuation of genocide with the Uyghurs in Xinjiang province.
Stop. Is that news to you, Stu? Have you ever heard the United States of America, a big elected official, a Speaker of the House or above, say that China is continuing the genocide on the Uyghurs? Have you heard that?
I mean, the fact that they're doing it is not news to me.
It's not news.
But as pretty close to an official statement of U.S. policy.
Correct.
It's notable.
Or at least what we know.
We've been critical of them, but we don't. I mean, you don't.
Yeah, like you mean like when Kevin McCarthy was in charge?
We're still talking about like the 1917 genocide and whether we should call it genocide.
Correct. In Turkey.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this:
the Armenian Genocide. Are we still talking about that? Are we? I thought Trump. Didn't Trump recognize the Armenian Genocide? It had to be him, right? He would have, if anybody. If any president was to recognize the Armenian Genocide, it would have to be Donald Trump, wouldn't it? It would have. Oh shit! Hi, what does that say? Sorry. What Biden's recognition of Armenian Genocide means to Armenian Americans? Well, obviously not much, because someone else must have done it. We affirm the history. We do this not to cast blame, but to ensure that what happened is never repeated. Marked the first time a U.S. president formally equated the violence against the Armenians with atrocities on the scale of those committed by those committed in Nazi-occupied Europe. So Nancy Pelosi is recognizing the genocide against the Uyghurs. Biden is recognizing that the Armenian genocide was indeed an Armenian genocide, where I think he was ahead of Cenk Uygur on that arc, curiously enough. Funny that. But sorry, you were saying?
Why does the United States get such a bad rap with so many historians on the genocide of the Jews in Germany?
Because we waited too long to enter World War II, and the idea was that we waited until the last minute.
Didn't act fast enough.
We didn't act fast enough. But what is the excuse on the other side? One, by the way, I don't believe. But what is the excuse on the other side?
We didn't know.
We didn't know
it
for
was
sure.
Bad. We knew Germany was bad, but we didn't know what the extent of what they were doing.
And the better excuse, it's still a bad excuse, but the better excuse is that FDR, when he found out, he said the way to make it stop is to stop Germany. Don't defer any of our resources away from defeating Hitler and killing and cutting the head off the Nazi regime. That will end the genocide for the Jews.
I love Glenn's history lessons. I feel like it's not that I learned anything new. It's that I learned the dumb version of stuff again.
Okay. That's the best excuse I've heard, but it's still an excuse. We knew. And
so you're part of the you want to teach American children to hate their country. I see. Good. So you're pro critical race theory now, and we need to teach everyone that America is bad and that, all right.
Did nothing.
By the way, if this was a clip from a liberal talker, Glenn Beck would be losing his mind right now.
About it. What a surprise. Another Democratic icon. So he did nothing about it. It's a horror show. The world then said genocide must never happen again. It is in a separate category. It's
Here, teach us, tell us, Glenn. Tell us the meaning of genocide, Glenn. In your PJs, I guess you're just wearing PJs. Is it Cowboy Friday? Dude is wearing PJs. I don't care. He's wearing fucking PJs.
You can have gulags. You can have...
Yeah, that's what we say most of the time. You guys can have gulags. Knock yourself out.
Torture
train.
But genocide, state-sponsored genocide, is...
Yeah, that's too much.
In a separate category.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to get through round 1 and round 2 before you go for easy money in the genocide category. I'll take, what is genocide for 600?
Worst thing a country can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anything on that level, but
nuking an entire other country for obvious racist reasons. Yeah, like killing some of your own citizens because you don't like them anymore, or people who you view as invaders inside your own country. That's been done many times over history. I would go with just preemptively striking a country and killing everyone. I mean, in the modern era. You know, obviously, Genghis Khan did some shit that we might find concerning.
Be the ultimate crime you would accuse a country of.
It would be like saying,
Oh, it's good. Here comes an analogy. I live for Glenn and Bongino's analogies. These are sweet. It's like, what?
He didn't take out the garbage this morning. He doesn't clean his room. He's late with his math paper. He commits genocide. And he also is, late for a meeting that he had, at church. Wait, one of those things is a lot bigger. So this...
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I'm glad I finally came to an agreement with Glenn Beck that on a scale of genocide to not taking out the garbage, Jesus Christ, that's the analogy. That's it. This is the cutting edge, top-notch political dissection that people come to the Glenn Beck show. They want to hear Glenn Beck's take on things. And his take is that genocide is so bad, it's worse than not taking out the garbage and being late with your homework or a meeting at church.
What she did with the military aggression in the South China Sea.
The South China Sea. Yep.
The continuation of genocide with the Uyghurs in the Xinjiang province.
Yes, just Xinjiang. Yeah. The Xinjiang
with
province.
a violation.
He's saying Xinjiang, I think. We hope.
The cultural and religious priorities of Tibet. They don't pick up their socks. Okay?
I mean, those are bad things.
Those are all bad things, but it's...
Genocide is genocide.
Genocide
yes.
Isn't it? Okay. So now we have Nancy Pelosi admitting the United States of America knows that they're not only committing it, they're continuing to commit it, which means we've known for a while. Mm-hmm. And what does she say? She goes on to say, yes, they're committing genocide against the Uyghurs. But having said that, I'm quoting, the overriding issue is working together on climate change.
God. Would we have worked with Hitler on climate change?
Hitler didn't have nukes. That's the root of it. Also, you need to, if you're ever going to solve that kind of a problem without a straight invasion, you're going to need to operate domestically and diplomatically with them. And then you are also going to have to build up alliances like the AUKUS or the Quad and start strategically building up in that area. If you've ever played Risk, you may know this. That you can't just fly in and get everybody and start a hot war with China without killing everybody you're trying to save and them wiping them out just to prove they were never there in the first place and yada, yada, yada. So you've got to strategically start doing something about it. There you go.
Would we have worked with Hitler on developing the bomb? Would we have worked with Hitler on...
Well, for years, everybody was working with him. as this started to ramp up.
The Autobahn? Would we have worked with Hitler on his socialized medicine? Would we have worked with Hitler on any of his National Socialist ideas?
Well, Chamberlain would have, and Trump obviously did, even when COVID was happening.
The answer is no. No. When you're committing genocide, no.
I'm glad Glenn has finally found something he's got a hard line on.
Okay. She said, we have to work together on climate because climate is the overriding issue. The overriding issue.
Yeah, it's the air and water we all live off of. What are you, saving out everybody for a burned out cinder? That's kind of the point.
There is no way to describe this mindset that, yes, they are killing an entire group of people because of their ethnicity or religion. They are systematically rounding them up, using them for slave labor, and killing them, using their organs and selling them on the open market.
That's the Falun Gong people you're thinking of.
They are nothing more than cattle. For us to recognize it and do nothing about it is one thing.
Well, we're not doing nothing about it. We're using international pressure, and we're building up military alliances because we can't attack them head on because it's a giant fucking country. We have to. This is not World War II. A war is already broken out. We joined in the middle of actually hot fighting. This is the starting of the hot fight if we're not careful, and there's nukes involved. That's why this strategy. This is why, like, thinking is required. I know it's a new concept.
To say we recognize it, but we have bigger things to talk to them about is a horror show. Now, there's point one. Remember.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just checking something. Hold on one second. Here's that. Oh, it's 2012. Okay, never mind. Just checking something.
What I want to talk to you about is we will become the worst plague on human life ever. If we let our country go to the dark side. We will make the Nazis look like rookies. First step. Oh, we know they're systematically killing a group of people, but we have bigger priorities. Climate change.
What do you mean? That's literally national security and the survival of citizenry was the reason why all but 6 countries stayed out of World War II.
Okay, next one.
Ugh. I thought someone was whistling behind me. It was Hal. I'm in surround sound. It's my new thing.
We are not going to leave anyone behind. We won't leave anyone behind. We'll make sure every American gets out. There's maybe...
That wants to get out. Glenn, that wants to get out.
46 Americans left now.
How many? 346? Is that the number? Wait 1 second. I want to make sure this is, and as of today, right? So hold on.
Sure, every American gets out. There's maybe 46 Americans left now. Bullcrap. I have hundreds of Americans, hundreds that are still waiting to get out, and I cannot get the State Department to even admit it. And
well, if they, what do you want them to do? Announce where they are?
they give us permission to fly our airplanes, they are too late, because the paperwork that they gave us, that they insist we must have, somehow or another they only deliver it to us an hour after it's expired. It is evil. What is happening? It is evil. They are dehumanizing American citizens.
Or they think you're a loose turd in the punch bowl and you'll actually fuck shit up that's actually in the works already. There's not 46. Let me go in there. I know some guys with guns and some paramilitary dudes. It's going to be awesome. Hold on. England back flying people out of Afghanistan. Let's see if he's got there you go. Not so much a problem of the State Department and paperwork. Glenn Beck Group funded planes to be used for evacuations being grounded by Taliban. 6 planes funded by a Glenn Beck founded charity were identified as some of the evacuation aircrafts being grounded by the Taliban in Afghanistan. A report said the flights chartered by Mercury One cost the organization $750,000 each and are currently sitting empty at an airport in the city of Mazar-e-Sharif. An official with the non-governmental organization working on the evacuation told Newsweek. More than 1,600 people, including over 100 Americans, are expected to evacuate the country on planes. These are Christians only, by the way, which were chartered from Afghanistan's largest private airline, Com Air. So these are chartered planes that they haven't. So they cost $750, but they're not going to pay until they actually go. But they've been grounded. Com Air. These are Afghan planes. They paid for these planes. They already gave the cash, and then the Taliban isn't letting the planes fly. Do you see a strategy issue here with Glenn in the crowd? The NGO official told Newsweek that nobody is aboard the idle planes. All right, well, that's good. I'm glad they're sitting in 122-degree heat. The planes are currently empty, and its passengers are still waiting in their safe houses for clearance for takeoff from the Taliban. The Taliban are holding up 6 planes at 10. Okay, there we go. I have 1,600 plus people in the master manifest that want to fly, of which 123 are Americans and the rest are special immigration visas. Another NGO official told the outlet that the planes have not taken off because the Taliban has failed to grant final clearance and negotiations with the State Department have been stuck at this point. Because you don't want them to start taking off and then some rogue Taliban fucker blowing it out of the sky. This is not a good angle. Glenn, not a good angle. But thanks for shaving on that day, I suppose. Earlier Sunday, Tex Rep, this is McCall, 6 airplanes carrying Americans and Afghan refugees were being held hostage by the Taliban at the airport. They're not clearing airplanes to depart. They sat at the airport for the last couple of days. These planes were not allowed to leave. We know the reason why is because the Taliban wants something in exchange. This is really turning into a hostage situation where we're not going to allow American citizens to leave until they get full recognition from the United States of America. That didn't end up being the case either. That's earlier Sunday. So this is September 6th is when this happened. Glenn, I know you're angry. I know it's late. I know you're angry. I know you're wearing your cowboy PJs. Seriously. He looks like he's doing a dinner theater version of Christmas Story.
They don't count. Why? Because of politics.
Dude, you are only evacuating Christians. How do you vet people to be sufficiently Christian to get on the plane in the first place?
Next story.
Yeah.
Biden has just said the administration needs to cut back on the shipments of a highly effective therapy for COVID-19. It is called monoclonal antibodies.
Oh, monoclonal. I see. These are, for those of you that don't know, and you might confuse these with monoclonal antibodies. These are monoclonal antibodies, and they colonize COVID inside you. They're little white settlers, and they, sorry.
It is a bogus antibody. It is a made antibody. Instead of
synthetic is the word. Bogus doesn't help, dum-dum. If you're trying to convince people who don't want to take the vaccine that this is a better treatment, the fuck do you mean bogus? Bogus?
To a part of the disease, this is giving you a fake antibody that kills.
It's a fake antibody. It's not a fake antibody. It's a cloned antibody. It actually exists. What the shit?
The disease. So instead of having a vaccine, this seems like it could be a lot better.
No, it's not. It's temporary. Your body doesn't take them on. It can also cause other problems, shit stain. Jesus.
Nevertheless, it works.
It keeps people who are on the edge of going into the hospital possibly from going into the hospital. But please continue.
Works.
You know what also works? Getting vaccinated.
Putting back the therapy and not sending them to red states.
Bullshit.
They're saying because the red states are just using too much. Using too much? Can you tell me the states where they can't get it? Let's make sure the doses are not, in their own words, part of an effort to make sure there is medical equity.
Yeah, you would want everybody to have access to it, not the anti-vaxxer crowds who are blowing off the vaccine. You should have it left over for people who have like immunocompromised situations where they can't get the vaccine, so they might need these things, and they're being denied them because of fuckos that are like friends of yours who are like, vaccines, I don't want the government putting some sort of needle vaccine experimental thing. I would rather them put an experimental monoclonal antibody treatment in me.
I'm sorry, we can't help those. We can't help those poor hurricane victims because we've helped so many hurricane victims in America lately. We got to go find those hurricane victims that might need our help in the future in England.
The analogies are getting better by the moment. Yes, yeah, that's why sometimes we run low on resources in the United States fighting hurricanes, is because we're always fighting them in England. Jesus Christ, dude, do you think? I mean, just back up and then picture, sort of make a visual image in your head of what you think you might want to mean in the future. And then shape the words to fit it. That you heard that right, by the way.
Victims, because we've helped so many hurricane victims in America lately. We got to go find those hurricane victims that might need our help in the future in England.
By the way, the only thing remotely close to this lunacy you've ever heard is Rand Paul and his ilk saying, don't give money to Sandy Hook. We can't just bail out every coastal city that's ravaged by a hurricane. It's Republicans that always tell people who need emergency funds to fuck off.
What?
Yes, no, you're reacting, but what? What? Nobody knows what you're talking about either. We all reacted that way, Glenn.
Put the medicine where the medicine is needed.
Yeah. It's needed everywhere. There's not enough of it to go around. There's enough vaccine to go around, but there's not enough monoclonal antibody treatments to go around. So what you want is people to blow off getting the vaccine, a medical treatment we have plenty of, because they want to live in this fucking YouTube conspiracy theory fantasy hole of New World Order government. They're going to track me and it's going to make my nuts swell up. And those people should be protected with monoclonal antibodies, and the people who are in other states who are doing everything they can but have other medical reasons why they can't take the vaccine, they don't deserve the monoclonal antibodies. They're being shortchanged because of people who have an option and don't take it. The people without an option aren't getting the medicine they need. And you're cool with that.
And by the way, this is something I guess we could argue about if all of a sudden Seattle needs all of this monoclonal monoclonal antibody work.
Hey, at least you said it once, right? That's okay. That's a win.
If all of a sudden Seattle needs it, I guess we can say, okay, so where does it go? But for a government that doesn't care what bridge they cross, what constitutional rule that we have that they throw out of the window and say, we'll make these companies make more of it. Instead of that, oh, no, we can't make more of it. We just have to make sure that Texas and Florida don't get it. This is...
That's why. That's what they're trying to do. It might also be that there are actual physical limits in the universe. Fucking hell.
The people who are on television every night saying that doctors should refuse medical treatment for anybody who doesn't get the vaccine.
Well, because they're having to swap out beds because people who refuse the vaccine are ending up taking up ventilators that would be for people that are in car accidents. But you're saying that people who refuse the vaccine, who have no reason to, who are just doing it for political reasons, deserve extra special treatment, but a person who is doing everything right and being a good citizen, being decent, trying not to be late for a meeting at church, gets hit by a car, they got to wait in the fucking parking lot with a tube up their nose hoping they don't die because there's not enough beds because your fans don't want to get the Fauci ouchie.
I want to give you a poll.
Oh, God. Dear God. I can't. I got to get out of here. Anytime Glenn says that, just run for the hills. I'm just saying, that's...
You using the whole fist, Doc?
No, I'm not. I have no interest in a poll. Thank you.
On what is the biggest threat to a nation, to our nation?
Uh-huh.
Here's what people who vote for the GOP said was the biggest threat to our nation in order.
Okay.
The Taliban.
Wait a minute. What? People who voted for the GOP think the biggest threat to our nation is the Taliban. What? Okay. Somebody's fucking with you. There's the Taliban, not Russia, not China, not, COVID as a bioweapon, whatever, that shit. Fucking the Taliban. The Taliban. What do you think they're going to do? Fly busted helicopters over here? The Taliban. Even the belief system that the Taliban is a threat is only because they allowed Al-Qaeda to have camps. It was Al-Qaeda that you're actually afraid of. But they can't say Al-Qaeda because they don't remember because it's been 20 fucking years. The Taliban. What? Yeah, it's not a worldwide pandemic. The Taliban. The Taliban.
Defund the police activists.
Defund the police activists. Not the actual plan, because nobody's for that. Even Cory Booker was like, screw this shit. It's not happening. Nobody actually is carrying that nonsense out. But the activists are a problem. I'm very scared. They're going to line up with the Taliban and bomb my target.
China.
Okay, well, I'm glad it made the list. Third. China's third. All right.
And then everything else is in half. Top three.
Is everything else is in half? The rest of it was like, no, I think it's Taliban. And then defund the police activists. Those people scare me. Okay, they're very loud. And they all have banners. Where do they get the banners? Okay, nobody makes a banner that good. I've made my own banners. Okay. Anyways, I still say strength is spelled HT, but whatever. And then China. And then from this point on, I'm like, half Black Lives Matter, half like Durham not doing his job. And then like number 6 for me, I don't know, God, it would be like half having to take a vaccine, half not being able to bring a gun to a preschool. You know what I mean? Like those, I'm like half and half on those.
Here is what independents say is the biggest problem.
Okay. I doubt, I'm curious. I don't know where the poll came from. Let's see if the independents think are just Republicans light, or these are real independents. If they think Taliban is the number one thing, the number one threat to the United States of America is one tribe of 12 in Afghanistan.
The Taliban, China, then
I see. So China made it up to second. The independents think the Taliban is the number one threat too. Fucking hell.
To fund the police. That's what
Well, how many were there? 4 choices in this thing?
And say. What did Democrats say? Now, by the way, the
climate change, microaggressions, and running out of blue hair dye when you're on your way. Hold on. I think, let's see if we can do this. Let's see. There we go. I don't know. We're going to have to ask. But if I had to really guess, what are the biggest threats? Oh, God. I have not had my coffee yet. Biggest threats to America. I'm going to go with systemic oppression in academics and in placement scores and hiring, also wage gap. That would be my number one. My number 2 would be corporations. Not all corporations, obviously. I just mean anything that closes before 9 on a workday or opens before noon on a Saturday. Also, and my number 3, what's my number 3? Wine coolers. That would be it. They mess me up. I'm not even kidding. I'm not having any more. I can't do it. Okay, tell me what they said, though.
Number 1 for the GOP is at 66%. Number 2 is 62, then 58. Independents, 46, 45, and then 30.
They're afraid of numbers? I thought they were afraid of this stuff.
For the top 3.
Uh-huh.
Here's the Democrats.
Okay, give me it.
The Democrats.
Yeah.
The number one threat to America.
Right.
Donald Trump supporters.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, they kind of encapsulate everything. You know what I mean? Because they're loud and some of them have guns and they tried to overthrow our entire system of government, which the Taliban has never done. I don't want to. I mean, it's rude to point that out, and I'm not yucking their yum. I'm sure they would want to. But Trump supporters definitely clinging to the idea that he's still president, and they're kind of dangerous. I'm worried about, obviously tomorrow's going to be cray.
The number 2 threat to America
is trying to have a morning poo without coffee. Let me tell you.
Is unvaccinated Americans.
Well, sure. Yeah, they would be the people killing the most people. If you were looking for what was adding extra deaths to the United States right now, that would be it, I guess. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad they brought that up. That wouldn't have been on my list. I wouldn't have even thought that. But it is technically what's killing more Americans right now. Like right now.
Then you drop 12 points to number 3,
right?
Which is the Taliban.
Well, yeah, 12 points. Really? That's it? What's in between there? Were any of mine on the list?
Democrats at about 60% say that a Donald Trump supporter is more dangerous than the Taliban.
Well, the Taliban are all 6,000 miles away and aren't currently attacking any of our institutions of power or planning to do so. I know I'm nitpicking, but it's kind of true.
They are saying that someone who refuses to get the vaccine is more dangerous than China or the Taliban.
Well, yeah, because China and the Taliban aren't currently coughing on citizens and giving them a disease that's actually making them end up on a ventilator. I mean, obviously there are concerns on those two fronts, but this is about priorities, I suppose. I mean, that's the whole point of one of these lists is prioritizing, I would guess. I'm just guessing, but these are the people who are killing the most. And interestingly enough, they're killing more Republicans. I don't know if that matters to you. More Republicans are being killed by anti-vaxxers than Democrats by a long shot. Almost all of them, as a matter of fact. I mean, there's a random child which hasn't picked their political team, their side yet, and hopefully they never have to. Kumbaya. But anyways, I'm just saying overall that most. It's interesting how Democrats seem to care more about dying Republicans than Republicans do. Like, you seem very upset that we're upset that people in red states are being killed by their fellow Republicans. That's not weird to you? That's a lot of dead air. It is. It's a lot of dead air. It shouldn't take you that long. I know you're trying to sound intense or something, but
if you continue to dehumanize half of the population,
they're not dehumanizing. Even the Taliban's humans. If you're scared of the Taliban, so you're saying that the Taliban, when they say that's their number one fear, they're dehumanizing the Taliban and China and the defund the police activists. That the independents and Republicans are dehumanizing those people because they're number 1, 2, and 3 on their list. What?
Say because they believe they have a right to say, no, I'm not comfortable with this. And
no, you can be uncomfortable, but you can fuck off too. You don't have to spread the disease. Yeah, I mean, are you basically making the condoms don't allow me to feel anything, baby argument? Is that what it is? Is that what we're talking about here? Honey, I know HIV is a real thing and it's very dangerous and we're all scared or whatever, but I can't feel anything, so I don't want to wear it. I don't know. It's for me or whatever. I know you're saying no, but whatever.
Let me just let you know. If you would have taken Donald Trump up on his offer, which he has offered several times, let me be a spokesperson. I'll talk to the right. Let me.
What do you mean take up his offer? What's stopping him? All right, I'm done with this look. I'm back to being me. It was a little much.
Do commercials for you that says, hey,
they don't have to. He can put them out himself. He's a fucking billionaire. The ad council would absolutely put out Trump ads going, I think you should take the vaccine. What would his ads be like? This is Donald Trump. Don't forget to go to donaldjtrump.com and sign up for me to siphon money out of your bank account every month. Oh, by the way, you should take the vaccine. I took it. It's a good vaccine. But also, if you don't want to take it, you got your freedoms. Dung, 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 dung. The moron you know.
Guys, you got to take it. I've taken it. It's not so bad. If you would have come to us and said, how do we talk to people?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's, you know what? It's that culturally, we're just insensitive to how you talk to Trumpers. If only we'd gone to Glenn Beck to help construct the ads for people to get vaccinated. And he could have laid out one of his massively cunning analogies. You know, folks, I'm Glenn Beck, and I took the vaccine, and you should too, because taking the vaccine is it's like getting a needle in your arm that hurts for a couple of days, but will keep you from dying. It's like that. You know what I mean? You get what I'm swinging.
You might have been able to get some of these things done. For instance, you got to go to companies and force them. Nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it.
Not going to do it. Yeah, and they're not forcing them. You can get tested too. There's no vaccine mandate. Federal employees, you sign up for that job. But private companies with over 100 employees, you can get vaccinated or you can get tested weekly. Weekly!
However, if the government wants to pay for the simple test that you take once a week, it's non-invasive, it's no big deal, and they want to make those available for companies and they come and say, hey, would you do this? And they hadn't have been so damn creepy and weird on everything from the beginning. And
from the beginning? Sorry, who was it that put together Operation Fart Steve?
Captain's log.
Down any kind of information that disagrees with their political narrative. Here's what I want you to know.
Yeah, because we don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You lost us completely. Also, you have weird Vienna sausage fingers, and they're creeping me out. I've never noticed this before, but your hands are frightening. They might be Pixar.
They don't care about people living or dying. They don't care.
Well, then why would they give a shit about the vaccine? Why don't they just go, if you don't want to get it, it's free. If you want to get it, you get it. If somebody dies, fuck them. And also, they shouldn't... Let's turn away COVID patients if they haven't been vaccinated. If they didn't care, they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't have to do any of this shit. They wouldn't even lose their temper. Because look who's dying. It's all Trump voters.
Because we see it in Afghanistan. They don't care.
I will try, Bill. I will try to be responsible.
They don't care about people who are going to get COVID. They don't care, or they would make every option available, and they would have followed their own research that was done a year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago? Yeah, we knew so much about COVID then. What research a year and a half ago?
How do we convince people? In the government's own research, it says don't do these things, and that's what the Biden administration has focused on.
They didn't do them for a year and a half, and you fuckos aren't getting vaccinated. These should be things of last resort. They didn't do any of those things for a year, and lots of people died. And as soon as the vaccine started coming, the only people that are dying now are Republicans and those people who are Republican adjacent. And you don't give a rat's ass. And this is this guy going, they don't care about who's dying. We care more about these people who are dying than you do. And none of these people voted for Joe Biden. None of these people are Democrats. All of these people in North Dakota and South Dakota and Texas and Florida who are dying from this, all of them Trumpers. Or were unfortunate to be downwind from the idiocy and the virus.
They are intentionally irritating, intentionally poking. They want you to strike out.
What? No, we don't. We want you to get the fucking vaccine and participate in society. They want this is all a big plan. So we elected Donald Trump because we wanted him in office, so he would let this go and he would tear up the plan and fire the team for the pandemic response team, tear up their plan, so let a pandemic roll over the country, let it kill 600,000 Americans. Also, we could prod right-wingers into losing their shit and attacking their fellow citizens. This is the plan. Honest to God, this is what happens when you engage in too much conspiratorial thinking, or if you're a paranoid lunatic. Eventually, you just get yourself into a cul-de-sac of paranoid idiocy, and you can't get out.
God help us if anybody does.
The fuck are you talking about? God help us if anybody does. No, you lost the election. Nobody had to poke you. Trump lost the election, and you fuckers attacked the goddamn Capitol. And this asshole is just trying to foment the next insurrection. He's just trying to get people killed. He's trying to... nobody's giving a shit about his show or any of this anymore. They're also recognizing the fact that he was wrong about everything. He's been talking out of his ass for years. He was wrong about Trump. He was wrong about the election. He's wrong all along. And now his viewers are pissed at him. So the way you fix that when you've been wrong this whole time... By the way, a problem I don't have, Glenn... is that you just get more emotionally intense about this. You just get this is reached a whole new level. It's this is now they're internalizing genocide to drive us all. They're trying to make us attack them, and they better not, or we will. What?
They want you to do it because they are preparing to eliminate the problem.
Yeah, that's what's happening, Glenn. Yeah, we're waiting. Yeah, it's Democrats that are waiting with guns and FEMA camps to round up right-wingers who are so violently against getting a vaccine that their own leader got and brags about creating, we're going to round them up and either kill them or put them in, in it's Agenda 21 or Jade Helm all over again. This is fucking pitiful. Like, this is... He sounds like a TV host in V for Vendetta. Well, he wants to. The biggest secret of this is that Glenn Beck will, in his next segment after this, laugh with his co-host as if he didn't just say what he said. This is an asshole literally calling out people like, if they dare touch you, it's time to rise up. It's, and he means kill people. It means kill cops and soldiers and EMTs and ambush your fellow citizens and shoot up clinics and shit like that. That's the end game. That's what he's talking about. And that somehow the Democrats are making you do this because they're asking you to do the same thing they asked everyone else to do who didn't react that way. But now that they're asking you, it's an act of violence. And then this is the same asshole who says that, when the left uses words like silence is violence and stuff, that's an excuse for them to use what you say as a reason to attack you physically. And then that's what he's calling for, which is, we're just seeing it laid bare. This is the projection of Glenn Beck and his ilk. I dare not even call them right wing at this point, because this is straight up like proto-Nazi authoritarian psychopathy.
If you believe that genocide we need to tolerate because we have bigger issues, if you believe I, as a doctor, can say, you don't agree with what I say is true, I'm not going to give you any treatment.
Well, no, they're rationing treatment because of the lack of availability of the monoclonal antibody treatment. It's not a never-ending supply, and you'd want to give it to people who got sick accidentally, one would think. And also in terms of China, you're not going to handle that genocidal problem by overt action. We're not going to declare a hot war with China, or Trump would have done it, because the last 4 years it's been going on. It's not like it was invented this year. And we have a new president in the country who's doing material moves in the South China Sea. We showed those earlier, just so as you know. This little gathering. This is how you start pushing back against what China is doing with the Uyghurs. The other thing you do is, in getting out of Afghanistan, now the attention of the Taliban and ISIS and all these other groups turns toward China, because they have a teeny tiny little border with China that leads directly to the portion of the country where the Uyghurs are. So that shouldn't turn into anything else. But please, Glenn, tell us your fantasy about how people don't care about people and Americans are evil, stupid people because they have been telling you to get a vaccine and you won't do it. And so they're denying treatment because there is no there.
Mark my words.
No. This, besides doing his best attempt to, Jimmy Dore and Gavin Long gin up some asshole to assassinate some cops. Everything that Glenn Beck is saying in this clip is fart air. It's just garbage. No, Glenn. No. And just a tip for next time, if I may. May I? Can I, guys? Do you mind? I know I went long tonight, but I'll finish after this one. Glenn, the next time you've decided today's the day you're going to make your move. That today's the day you're going to show everybody that you're a tin pot dictator and you're about to lead your own cult in an uprising, and you're the new KFC version of Trump, and you're going to take MAGA and gather them together and fight back against the authoritarian, murderous regime of Nancy Pelosi and the left-wing communist sympathizers. The next time you do that and you announce it into your Mr. Frosty microphone in front of your weird Saddam Hussein graphic with your name on it, don't wear your cowboy PJs. I'm just saying. There's a reason why you did. Let's see. Glenn Beck. Let's see. Images. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll show you. Here's Glenn. Maybe wear this outfit. Do you still have it? I know it doesn't still fit. But perhaps, this kind of authoritarian, Hitlerian outfit. I mean, what you're saying makes way more sense coming out of this guy than nap time Glenn. We all have our Glenn Beck action figures, right? We have our neo-Nazi Glenn and our please give me your money so that I can only evacuate Christians Glenn. We have our client, our weepy woo-woo Glenn Beck doll. We have fake Professor Glenn. We have KFC Glenn. But then, of course, we have nap time Glenn with squeezy wee-wee.
If we don't stop this path now and start standing up together in love, in peace, in harmony.
Yeah, love and peace and harmony. You just told everybody that they're going to poke you and they better beware. You better not poke me again or I'm going to come at you with love and peace and harmony in my PJs. In my PJs. Hold on one second. Someone asked for this earlier, so I want to see if I can do this at least once before we go. Hold on. Nope, that's not it. 1 second. Where are you? Hold on. I got it in here. Hold on 1 second. I'm looking for something. Where is he? Where is the little guy? Oh, I don't have it. Hold on 1 second. I'm looking for something. Give me 1 second. Oh, sorry. That's not it. Where is it? Let's see. Where'd it go? I know it's got to be in here. Oh, nope, that's not it. Here we go. It's time for bedtime with Glenn. It's time to have a nightmare. It's time to lay on your pillow and have a good scare. Oh yes, it's bedtime with Glenn. He'll fill your dreamy times with hate and fear and scary stuff, knowing that the world is going up in a puff of smoke. Oh no, Glenn's scary man. Glenn's scary man. Oh no, no, oh no, it's nap time with Glenn. Glenn has lost his mind, he's in his PJs again. Oh Glenn, why are you such a big old jerk? Why don't you get a real job instead of calling this work? You work in your PJs. 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 Oh buddy. Oh PJs. Oh PJs. We're going to have some PJs. Oh, PJs. Oh, PJs. Seriously, dude. Those are some sweet-ass PJs. I'm just saying. I don't really... They're probably big for me. Do you know, where do you shop? Because cowboy PJs they're kind of retro. I like them. It's good. It looks like the old cowboy shows my grandfather used to wear. Which is funny, because you looked a little bit like my grandfather. If he was, if he'd washed up on a beach after committing some sort of heinous crime and was going to jail. You'd kind of, you know what I mean? You have that whole kind of... Anyways. It's time for bedtime with Glenn, and we'll have it again. Oh, it's a nightmare, a nightmare, a nightmare factory. Sorry. Just for fuck's sake. How'd you look like that as a 3-year-old? I kind of did, yeah. I was this buff. By the way, it gets a little intense when Glenn is talking. And I want to remind you, do not take anything that this fuckhead says seriously. Nothing. Nothing. Do not get upset when he talks. Do not allow him to steal any of your positive emotions with his blather. This is his one go-to thing that always works in his head, that he can look so enraged and it's terrible. It's just nonsense. It's silly. Please don't get caught up in it ever. Always view it for the accidental comedy it is. It's perverse, it's grotesque, it's a flailing attempt at violence, but he's useless. He's an extra. Glenn Beck is on his path to being the next Reverend Gene Scott in his mind, and he's basically just passing time screaming into a microphone until that happens. It's his moneymaker. Yeah, it's just... how do scammers work off replies on Facebook? I don't know. It's so weird. Yeah, don't get caught up in any of it. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. I will see you tomorrow for the radio show, the Hal Sparks radio program, Megaworldwide. It's on WCPT. I also stream it live here. My buddy Johnny Million will be with us. I even made new screens for us to do our show together, which is really nice. It looks like this. He'll be right there. Be really cool. Until then, though, hold on. That's secondary. Where's that secondary noise coming from? It's weird. I think it's just dirt noise from the... I'll work on it. I think it needs a noise. I know why. It's because I added gain to it. That's why. So I'm going to hold on 1 second. Plus, add a filter. Noise suppression. Done. Okay, there we go. That should do it. There you go. Done. And we'll put that in there. There you go. That's much better. So I will see you guys. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night. Have a great Friday. Much love. See you soon. Go eat something. Relax. And I will see. Where's my ending button? There it is. Okay. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.